Welcome back here to Bill Gatto Field, home of the Green Forest Tigers, for tonight's matchup on the Southern Sports Network between the Gravette Lions and the Green Forest Tigers. I'm Stephen Blackson once again, and alongside me, Cannon Port. Welcome into the Todd's Coffee Roaster Game Show here on Southern Sports. And a great tonight, looking to try to sneak into the playoff.
Two teams sort of on the outside, both have their playoffs, and both have a good shot in the path to make those playoffs. So this game cannot be overstated how big this one is.
Well, to start, let's take a look at the visiting team, how they did last week, how they fared in their game against the Berryville Bobcats, actually right down the road here from Green Forest. As you can see, that one, a blowout for first victory of Coach Kelby Bohannon and these Lions.
Yeah, Bill, sort of the one on the bottom of the standings. Somebody's got to be there, but Gravette bouncing back from their previous losses, and they won. Good momentum to take in and good things to build off in the Green Forest.
And importantly, that victory keeps their playoff hopes alive as they try to fight for that fifth seed. On the other side of the coin, the home Tigers tonight. We'll take a look at the score that they had last week. But against the Elk, a tough team conference right now. We'll take a look at it later, 1-8 over.
Yeah, and Shiloh Christian over in this conference here. Elkin team, maybe even higher. They beat 32-8. Impressive team over there in Elkin.
Yeah, definitely a crucial loss down at the end of this, but everything's still. The Tigers a win do a lot to those playoffs as we take a look at what they have to offer in terms of schedule and things like that. First, we'll take a look actually at Gravette's schedule. As we see here tonight, taking on the Tigers next week. They're going to get their bell rung more than likely. It's not a knock to the Gravette Lions, but that's just how good Shiloh Christian is every week in this league.
No, we know that Gravette and Coach Bohannon are building a great program here. It starts somewhere, but Shiloh Christian has been basically the team to beat for the last, I would say, decade or so. And there's no shame in losing to them, but it's a good chance to figure out sort of where you stand going into the last week.
And we take a look at that last game, the rivalry game against the Gentry Pioneers that we saw at this same field a couple weeks ago. The brawl for Benton County should be a good one. It was a weird one last year where Gravette came out victorious at the very end, a high-scoring affair. Anything could happen in that one.
Anything can happen. You get to that final week, like we said, both these teams behind us have playoff implications going into the rest of the season. Could be that Gravette gets there and they have a chance to make the playoffs. And, when that happens, anything can go.
Well, let's take a look now and see what the Tigers have left on their schedule. Well, of course, obviously the game tonight, but a couple of winnable games left on the schedule. They're going to travel down the road, take on a familiar foe in the Huntsville Eagles. A little bit of a rivalry game there, and then they close the season with their big rival, the Berryville Bobcats, right down the road for the clash in Carroll County.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Tibbett, you're looking at these last three games saying, okay, they're not wins in the bag, but they are winnable games. These are three teams that you could go toe-to-toe against and easily come out with 2 or 3 wins, and that puts them firmly in a playoff position if they do that.
It gives them a chance. Last year, they made the playoffs just on an opt-in. Both these teams opted into the playoffs, and both these teams nearly came away with victories. I believe last year, Gravette went down to Little Rock Mills, lost in overtime in that ball game, and these Green Forest Tigers came within about a yard of tying the ball game against Bald Knob out on the other side of the state in the playoffs last year. It was weird. A situation last year, but this year it is the top 5 teams in the league will get a postseason berth in the 4A. We will step away momentarily here on the Todd's Coffee Roasters pregame show. We'll have more when we return.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get it whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
Hey, Dean Blandino here. And guess what? Football season is right around the corner. And to watch the best live broadcasts in high school sports in Northeast Oklahoma, download the Southern Sports Network app. And check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I just did. Give them a like. It's the best broadcast in high school sports, and not just that area, in the country. Check them out.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Back here to Todd's Coffee pregame. Good shot there of some of the beans you can buy on toddscoffee.com. There, make sure our SS, I believe 24, a little bit of a distance way out. Coffee of SS by 4 that we can ever have.
One of the best coffee are fantastic on both of these. And just a good coffee to drink.
Again, all available on their website. He'll mail it out to you, beans, or I believe he'll also even grind them for you. And you take advantage of that because it is a phenomenal bag of coffee. I recommend the red bag, the Loco Red Dirt, the iconic signature Todd's Coffee roastery bag. But let's transition here. It's nice weather tonight here at at Green Forest. It might be a little bit colder, but right now it's still pretty mild. I mean, I'm in short sleeves. I know your pullover on, but at the moment for kickoff, it's going to be nice.
Very comfortable. So I feel like playoffs. We're talking playoff implications. Pregame, and the weather's starting to sort of reflect that. Thought there might be rain, but it sort of held off, not a cloud in the sky. So if you don't like the weather in Arkansas, wait a minute. But good weather for football right now.
Yeah, if this game was played tomorrow, I think the rain's coming in tomorrow and everything like that. But tonight, barely any clouds in the sky. A beautiful sunset here in Green Forest. That will definitely aid, I think, tonight. Cooler playing conditions might help with some of those cramps and some of those injuries that you see from fatigue in ball games like this.
Yeah, really from our Week 0 broadcast on, we saw a lot of fatigue and injury with that heat. I mean, you have a lot of these players playing both ways, so a lot of them are getting worn down pretty quickly. But now that the weather just seems like a non-factor, it should see its way out from not being an issue.
Well, that's the weather all wrapped up and everything like that. Good weather tonight for football. We'll take a look now at how the conference is playing out here in the 4A1 here in the we go on into the evening, but it'll be interesting just to see kind of how the ebb and flow these last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you're looking up and down the standings. Really, anyone can end up anywhere except for, obviously, you said Elkins mathematically we think is clinched. Shiloh with the win tonight would mathematically clinch. Everything else is still up in the air. Gentry, Prairie Grove play each other tonight. That could flip some positions up in the playoff spots. And then Huntsville could either secure one in the next couple weeks or they could be knocked out entirely. So it's a ton of fun going down the stretch here. 4A1 is about as fun as it gets right now in the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, fun as it gets, as competitive as it gets from top to bottom. You look at Berryville, they are winless in conference play, but that's kind of misleading just because of how competitive this league is. It's a first-year head coach there. We've seen second-year head coaches here at Green Forest, at Gentry. Kelby Bohannon's a third-year head coach at Gravette. There's a lot of change and a lot of young blood in this league. Yeah,
a lot of young blood, a lot of really people just chasing the establishment, which I would think is Shiloh and Prairie Grove. Those two teams have been great forever, and they're leaving soon from the 4A1. So really good chance for Berryville with their first-year head coach to sort of flip the scripts next year, sort of forget about this, I would say, mostly forgettable up until this point in the season, and really make a push for one of those playoff spots next year. There's no telling what can happen next year.
Yeah, and new head coach over in Berryville, head coach Brian Hudson, no stranger to this league, was at Elkins just a year ago, led Elkins to some of the best seasons they've had in recent history with Kane Johnson and company, finished third in their league last year, had a tough out in the postseason against the Nashville Scrappers, as it always is, Nashville contender year in and year out, but it's definitely interesting to see how this will progress, not just this year, but when these teams like Shiloh and Prairie Grove go up to 5A, who can fill that power?
Yeah, and you would think Elkins is waiting right there. Gentry, we saw a couple weeks ago, they were fantastic. And then Huntsville, too, right there knocking on the door, I feel like. But there's a few teams ready to step up to that next level in the 4A when those two leave.
Well, we'll have more on the Todd's Coffee Roastery pregame show after these messages.
College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
At NWA Getaways Dream Vacations, our goal is to relieve our clients of the vacation planning stress, as well as ensure that they get the best value for their investment. We love making suggestions that take their vacations from what they request to a level beyond their dreams. Our perfect client is that busy professional who wants to relax with friends and family, but doesn't want the stress of planning for it. I'm Debbie Corwin with NWA Getaways Dream Vacations, where we make your dream vacation a reality.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
Farraga will be the starting quarterback there, and keep an eye out there for number 7. Barrett Phillips had a great game against the Gentry Pioneers last time.
Yeah, fantastic game out of them. They're more of a ground game sort of team, and that starts with the running back, number 7, Barrett Phillips. Also starts with the big guys up front. They created a few good holes, and we saw several really good runs from them last 2 weeks ago, was it? Just couldn't really get it done in the end zone.
Just couldn't get it across the goal, and had some opportunities. We'll now take a look at the Gravit defense. Here they'll be going up against that rushing attack. And, you know, there's some names that we've noticed here before when we were doing the game in week 0, all the way back at the beginning of the year when they played the Vian Wolverines. A name to keep an eye out for, I think, really probably on both sides of the ball for the Lions, but Carl Bontrager, number 21, that linebacker there, he was an impact player in that game. Did as much as he could for their defense that was needed. Took some lumps in that one, to put it nicely, but might have a good recovery later in the season.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this Gravit team as a whole. I mean, when we saw them in Vian, it was really sort of a crapshoot. Vian's a very good team in Oklahoma. Bontrager, like you said, plays both sides. Great linebacker, also a great running back. And excited to see what they've built on from week 0 to now, because, you know, we obviously saw them get their first win last week, so excited to see what they've built on. And their defense wasn't horrible when we saw them in Vian. They were actually pretty solid.
Yeah, well, now let's take a look at that Lion offense here that will be led by, again, Carl Bontrager as the featured back, the bell cow back. And, you know, talk a little bit more about starting quarterback Rhett Hilger there for me, Cannon.
Yeah, Rhett Hilger, big shoes to fill. His older brother, Cy, was the former quarterback here at Gravit. Really sort of a up and down season so far. It's really starting to peak, though. I mean, obviously, we saw them in week 0. They really couldn't get anything going offensively. They were shut out. But now, coming off their first win, excited to see what Rhett Hilger and company have on the offensive side. More of an RPO system they're going to run here tonight, and excited to see how far they've come in the weeks since we've seen them.
Yeah, and this is something we also talked about back in week 0. This is an incredibly young football team for the Gravit Lions. You know, sophomores and juniors all across the board, starting on both sides of the football.
Yeah, and you saw those young kids really going toe-to-toe with one of the powers in Vian. I mean, you really saw them, you know, the determination was there. It just wasn't on a talent level or an experience. I will say experience level. I think the talent's there. You know, you fast forward to next year, this young class, when they're sophomores and juniors, and even juniors and seniors in 2 years, this could be a team to watch out for in the 4A1.
Yeah, and last but not least, let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Tigers tonight. Named to keep an eye out for, number 24, Brian Soto, interior linebacker for the Tigers. He had a pretty solid game against the Pioneers when we were here last, and it'll be interesting to see that dynamic between Hilger and Soto tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't for a lack of trying. The Green Forest defense, when we saw them a couple weeks ago, was very solid. A couple big plays, but nothing out of the ordinary. Really solid unit. And Brian Soto, like you said, a linebacker that leads that unit. Going to be excited to see where they've grown in the last couple of weeks, and if they can play some lockdown defense, maybe pitch a shutout here against Gravit.
Yeah, you know, they held the Gentry team when we were here 14-0. Every time we've been, whether it's here or Catoosa, we've had fairly interesting games, except for that week 0 contest against Vian, which was a drumming by the Wolverines. But it's been interesting week to week. I'm interested to see how tonight goes. Last week I don't think it'll be able to top a fluke Pereira 2-point conversion at the end of the ball game that went in there for the Catoosa Indians against the Ooliga Mustangs, but who knows?
I'm ready to deem Catoosa the place where weird things happen. We've been there 3 times, 3 very unique finishes, and it was just a great time. Green Forest, though, had a great game here a couple weeks ago. The atmosphere was fantastic. Some of the best concession food I've ever had. They were grilling out tacos, and just a great home environment here. Excited to see what the students and the parents bring here tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a little chillier. We'll see how that affects the attendance and the energy of the crowd. When we were here against Gentry, it was homecoming, all the festivities for that, but hopefully for Tigers fans that come out tonight, they'll be entertained with a good game. And there's a few Lions fans over there on the visiting sideline, and I believe the band came for Gravette, so it's good to have that atmosphere back at a college or at a high school football game, after last year with COVID and all that happened last year.
Yeah, excited to have the atmospheres back. As we've gone everywhere, we've seen really unique home atmospheres, but glad to see it. Homecoming last week, or a couple weeks ago, was obviously very fun. Going to see if this home field advantage really plays out like it should here in Green Forest.
Yeah, it's good to be able to get back to a little bit of normalcy here as we close in on the playoffs. We will step away and have more of the Todd's Coffee Roastery pregame show when we return.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, information systems, healthcare.
Throw it up.
Well, welcome back. I'm Stephen Blackston. He's Cannon Poor again here on the Todd's Coffee Roastery pregame show. While we have a little bit of time, I believe we have about 9 minutes before kickoff here, before we get under action for football Friday night. Last week it was Thursday night football, a special there, and that one didn't disappoint. But Cannon, while we still have a little bit of time, what did the Lions and the Tigers, no Bears, Lions and Tigers have to do tonight just to keep their playoff hopes alive?
I mean, a win would help either way. But regardless, if you're Gravette, you got a really good ground and pound offense. All you got to do is, run the ball, but you also need Red Hilger to be able to pass the ball effectively. We didn't see much of that in week 1. I think he's grown as a passer since then. If you're Green Forest has a solid offense. They're really just a ground and pound game. If you can get those big boys up front to open up holes for you and break off some big runs like we saw a couple weeks ago, that's an easy path to a win. And both of those offenses, if those offenses are clicking, that's your best defense because it's just going to melt the clock away.
Well, I would say one concern, we saw when Green Forest and Gentry played, because they went down early, Green Forest went down early, they had to go to the passing game, and that's not necessarily one of the strengths for this Tiger team. Do you see Gravette trying to maybe dare them to throw here, stack the box early?
Which is what we saw 2 weeks ago. We saw a team that had to throw because they were being dared to. They were stacking the box. I think you could do that for both teams. I think Gravette's more effective in the pass game, so it might work out for them. But if you see Green Forest have to force to go to the pass, it could get a little sketchy here, but I think they could do it. We saw a lot of good stuff from Isaiah Fraga 2 weeks ago, and I think he's capable of doing it if his receivers can get open.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes throughout the game, the story of that game. Looking ahead, Green Forest, if they can get a win tonight, they go into Huntsville, try and take on the Eagles, and try and keep those playoff hopes alive. Gravette, like we said, needs some help, but we will pause momentarily for the national anthem here in Green Forest. A great rendition there of the national anthem by the Green Forest Marching Band. Love to see that patriotism. Not much wind out tonight, as you saw the flag barely moving here. But to finish our point, Green Forest, their destiny is completely in front of them with a win tonight. If you're Gravette, you got to have some help, and do you think they can get that help down the stretch from the teams that are ahead of them?
You could. The hard part, if I'm looking down at my notes right now, is that Gravette has to go to Shiloh Christian next week, or has to play Shiloh Christian at home. Doesn't matter where you play. You play them
in a parking lot.
In a parking lot, and it's going to be hard. Green Forest, they got Gravette this week, Huntsville next week, at Huntsville, and then Berryville. That's 2-1 easily, maybe 3-0. I mean, they have the better path to me right now. Gravette would have to have some help, like you said, and that's it could come, but you still have to beat Shiloh Christian.
Yeah, it's a tough road on that one, and importantly, as we mentioned earlier, Huntsville has the head-to-head tiebreaker against Gravette, so they're going to have Huntsville lose a couple games. And an interesting situation could develop if, let's say, the Green Forest Tigers go in next week, beat Huntsville, lose tonight, then it's all sorts of tangled up as we close into the final week of the season.
And those are playoff scenarios that if we get there, they're going to be fun to look at. That's a big game next week for Huntsville and for Green Forest as well. If they both win tonight, and Huntsville's playing Berryville, so you very well could see them win. And if Green Forest can execute their offense, they can win tonight and set up a really fun, interesting battle for the 5th spot next week.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. As you see behind us, the Gravette Lions, they're getting ready to take the field. We have a couple of minutes before kickoff here at Bill Gatto Field, about 4 minutes away from kickoff. Before we take a commercial, we'll leave you with the Lions and Tigers running out onto the field, and when we return, it'll be Football Friday Night, presented by Northeastern State University.
Gravette is going to record C. The Green Forest will be protecting the South Lake. As we get ready to kick off, our temperature is a beautiful 66 degrees with a wind blowing only 2 miles an hour from the southwest. It's a beautiful night for some football in these Friday night lights. All right, friends, from both sides, let's rise to our feet and get ready for kickoff, and let's raise a little noise for these kids coming through this nice, beautiful Tiger living run through. Here we go.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
We are computer science pros, chemists and lab technicians, health professionals, mathematicians, and science educators. We are the Greg Wadley College of Science and Health Professions at Northeastern State University. Choose from degrees in natural sciences, health and pre-health professions, mathematics and computer science, and more. Discover the possibilities at Northeastern State University.
Football Friday night here on the Southern Sports Network, presented by Northeastern State University in Tahlequah for tonight's matchup between the Gravette Lions and the Green Forest Tigers, as both schools try to keep their playoff hopes alive. As I'm Stephen Blackson, alongside me back up in the booth as we hustled over from our pregame tent is Cannon Poor.
Yeah, had a little audience, got to say hi to some fans, and then hustle back up here for a better perspective on this game. Like you said, both teams mathematically still alive. One team needs a little help. The other team controls its own destiny.
Well, the Green Forest Tigers will be kicking off to start tonight's ball game. They'll be in the red with the gray pants, white helmets, and the Gravette Lions will be in the white with black pants and black helmets. And we're underway here at Bill Gatto Field as Gravette will start things off here. And Lions will have great starting field position out past their own 35, and we'll get our first look at Rhett Hilger, number 1, the quarterback.
Yeah, not a whole lot to go off of from week 0. Obviously a shutout with the Vian Wolverines, but he's grown as a player since we've seen him. He's had a few weeks, he's had a few games under his belt, and got his first win last week. Excited to see how he's developed as a passer.
I see a picture there of Rhett, his older brother Cy, the starting quarterback here the last couple of years for the Lions. As we'll see this offense once again. Saw them back in week 0 in the Sooner State in Vian, Oklahoma, as they took on the Wolverines. And on first down, the Lions just going to hand off and able to push the pile a little bit there. You'll hear this name a lot tonight. That's number 21, Carl Bontrager, on the first down rush.
Yeah, and every offensive drive, unless you were trailing in the fourth quarter, should start with a handoff to Bontrager. Bontrager, fantastic running back. And that RPO offense is really going to be important to establish early. Rhett Hilger, as we saw week 0, can run, and he's an effective passer now as well.
Well, 2nd down and 4 after the first down rush. Blitz might be coming here from the Tigers. Indeed it does, and Lions able to get around that and just back to the line of scrimmage. Will bring up a 3rd down and 3 as the Lions will be on 3rd down for the first time tonight.
And with both teams really just wanting to run the ball effectively, this is going to be a line of scrimmage game on both sides of the ball. Can the defense get any penetration on the offensive line, and can the offensive line hold, and not only hold but create holes for their running backs respectively to find some distance?
Well, Lions will look to the sideline, get the call from head coach Kelby Bohannon. Lions will operate in the pistol here. Hilger looking to throw. Directing traffic. Able to avoid a tackler. Throws it downfield, and that one's going to hit off the turf. Incomplete. That was Ethan Ellis, the intended target, as Hilger playing a little hero ball there.
That's our first little shot of what we saw from Rhett Hilger first week. Really his defense, or the Vian defense, did such a good job protecting downfield that he had to improvise with his legs. He's a fast runner. Obviously, you saw him evade a couple tackles. And if he makes that throw a little bit higher, it's a first down. We also saw him punt, I think, a little bit in week 0. So this could be a go for it or a punt situation.
And we'll see. 4th and 4. Just about 10 minutes to go. And now Hilger will move to a punt. Kick Quicket. And that one will drop just past the Green Forest 30-yard line, and that'll be where the Tigers take over for their first offensive possession tonight.
Yeah, not a whole lot from that first drive from Gravette. Saw several runs, and now Green Forest gets their chance to introduce their offense here, which is going to be a feature-back sort of situation. Mostly runs, and then you'll see a little bit of Isaiah Fraga throw if he has to, but this team wants to run the ball and then run the ball again.
Well, as you see there, the Tigers breaking the huddle for their first offensive possession. Again, number 1, Fraga, the quarterback. And he'll hand off on first down, as we'll see a lot tonight, and that was number 7, Barrett Phillips, the senior, going the wrong direction there on 1st and 10.
And that could be sort of be a situation you saw just getting in the backfield, guessing run, which is a safe guess. It's almost a bet at this point, or a known. And if Gravette's able to effectively do that and get in the backfield before Green Forest can pick up any yards, you're going to have to start throwing the ball to keep them guessing.
Tigers going to work with 3 receivers near side of the screen. Fraga pulls down Barrett there on the read. A little bit of indecision there, I believe, for Isaiah Fraga.
Yeah, and it's hard to harp on that, but you have to, because that's a situation where you have to at least have a clean handoff, or that ball has to be pulled from his chest. You cannot have an in-between, because if you have an in-between, that's what happens, and your quarterback goes down for a sack.
You're going to make a decision there as you see the Tigers looking to the sideline to get a play call. Long 3rd down and 15. Nearly taking this one from Highway 412 to start the ball game here.
What's important here is if they don't pick up the first down, special teams will be important. Field position and flipping that is going to be very necessary.
Well, Fraga keeping his eyes downfield. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, and will be 4th and 15 for the first offensive possession for the Tigers.
And you see there, Fraga is just a little bit short, and the Gravette had enough height on their defensive line to get a hand on that one, really, which is really good because Green Forest had a couple receivers downfield that could have caught that. But now you've got to really try and flip field position because Gravette's going to have solid field position unless something happens, or unless something crazy happens.
Well, we were talking about this in the pregame show just minutes ago. If Gravette wants to have a chance of winning this game, get Green Forest off what they want to do, which is run the football in the first 2 downs, and they do just that.
Guessing run almost, or not even guessing, but just betting on run, and if they beat you a couple plays, they beat you a couple plays.
Well, in a game of punts so far, the Gravette Lions are winning that battle as they had the ball last at just past their own 35-yard line, and now they'll start this next drive at their own 44, so about a net positive of 10 yards off of 2 punts.
Yeah, it really seems like the same starting field position, a little bit better, but now you got to see Gravette second drive. Can the RPO be established, and can we see a couple of bigger plays than we saw first drive?
Hilger will operate from the gun. Rolling out, looking downfield, and that one too tall there for Ethan Ellis. Had him, just let him too high.
And that's an impressive throw. See, one of the things we saw on the field when we were down there is the slope to allow drainage is so steep. You have to throw the ball a little lower. I think you said that actually earlier. But Hilger's deceiving. He's a little guy. He's very skinny, but he's got a powerful arm, especially on the run there. You saw him deliver a solid ball. It was just way too high.
Well, he's listed at 6'1", so he's tall, but
He's
I
tall.
see what you're saying
Yeah.
with little. He's 162 pounds, so, he's only a junior, has another year to develop, put some muscle on him. But the tools are there.
It would be a guy where, when he comes back next season for them, would be a very fun one to keep an eye on in the 4A1. He could do things next year with this offense in your 2 or 3, excuse me.
Well, Lions going to move 2 guys in motion, and flag comes in, I believe, delay a game on the Lions.
And that will be the call. And with 2 offenses that rely on their ground game, giving away free yardage is not the optimal way to get started.
Well, our white hat tonight is Riddell Thompson, so he'll be making all the penalty calls tonight. And now it's 2nd and 15 here for the Lions. As Hilger looking to throw again, pressure from the Tigers. And that ball bobbles around, nearly intercepted there. Looked like Gabe Holland, one of the safeties, trying to come in there and break up the pass.
Yeah, you saw that was a pass to Jackson Galley, and he ended up playing corner right there, just trying to break that up. But you see the ball from Hilger. It's a tight spiral. It was nice and far, or it was pretty far down the field. He's got the arm strength there. He's just got to put it in a place where it's either his receiver catching it or nobody catches it, because that could have easily been a pick.
Well, 3rd down and 15. Heard this story before, as Lions will look to pass again. This time Hilger keeps his eyes downfield. First down, Lions. First one of the game into Tiger territory. Who else? Number 21, Carl Bontrager, on the completion coming across the middle.
And I'll tell you this, Steven. I think he's more impressive when he's improvising outside of the pocket on a broken play rather than inside a clean pocket. Just runs around for a little bit, finds his receiver downfield, and it's the first down of the game.
And for the Tigers, that has to be frustrating. You set all your secondary players right at the sticks and give up the first down anyway.
Yeah, that's a back-breaking defensive play. You just got to shake it off and come back here, try and keep them out of field goal range, let alone touchdown range.
Well, Hilger will work alone in the backfield, hits Bontrager again, and running through Tigers for another first down inside the Green Forest 30-yard line.
Bontrager's a very interesting running back. In his case, you don't see running backs at even the college level really that can line up in the slot and catch a ball like that. He's really a five-tool guy. He can run, or he's a great running back. He can catch it in the slot, and he's a great defender. So two really good weapons for Gravette that, if they can utilize, are going to play to their benefit big time tonight.
Yeah, you know, in the preseason when the magazines come out, Kelby Bohannon mentioned him as the bell cow back. He can do a lot more than that as Lions set up a screen that's going to go nowhere. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be Navarre Perez breaking that one up, coming down from his cornerback position. Great play there for the Tigers.
It just looked like sort of a screen call to Ethan Ellis. Not exactly sure why. Haven't seen a screen effectively work this season for really anyone. But, you know, you're going downfield pretty well. Not exactly sure why you shake up the play call there. And now you're in a second and long.
2nd and 8?
2nd and 8.
We go under the 7-minute mark. As Bontrager back at his running back position. High snap. Hilger able to get up there, uses all 6 feet and 1 inch there. And the Lions go in the wrong direction now. Looks like it'll be about a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 here, as this is not on schedule for the Lions.
And Bontrager, obviously the feature back, you want to feed him, but in this situation you can see Gravette sort of guessing run, or Green Forest, excuse me, a lot of G's in this conference, guessing run. And now you're in a 3rd and long, which if you're Green Forest defense, you're pretty comfortable that you can stop a pass. And if you're Gravette's offense, you know that Red Hilger has the ability to throw the ball downfield. So both teams pretty comfortable where they're at right now.
Lions going to spread it out, 5 receivers. Watch the quarterback draw potentially. And looks like not enough there for the Lions as Hilger able to hit his guy, Jackson Galen. It'll be 4th down and medium. And it looks like Kelby Bohannon just going to keep the offense on the field and let the dice fall where they lay.
Yeah, with how sketchy the kicking game in high school is outside of Catoosa, you have to kind of go for this. Can't really punt this close, and field goal is a little bit too long here.
And that's going to be an encroachment on the Tigers there. Looks like that was Brian Soto jumping offside, number 24. We talked about him and Hilger in the pregame. That chess match between the linebacker and the starting quarterback, favor that one to Hilger. You see Soto there.
Not enough for the first down, but it's about as close as you can be without picking up the first down. So
I'm surprised yet. They're going to, I think, measure potentially. Bring out the sticks.
Bring out the chains. Here's the situation here. Everyone in the building thinks it's going to go to Bontrager, excuse me. If it is 4th and inches, I say you're Red Hilger, you draw it out of your running back's chest and you just run for it yourself.
We'll see what the spot
is. Might not have
is.
to.
It's going to be very close.
I think it is short. Yeah, it is short.
It is about a foot short there.
Yeah, it looks like it's short.
4th down and about a foot.
And it'll be 4th down and a football length or so. But definitely a manageable situation. I guess if you want to look at analytics, we'll look to favor the offense in this situation, unless I guess you're the Buffalo Bills on Monday night.
Ooh, topical.
Yeah, topical. Trying to go with the quarterback sneak with Josh Allen. The Tennessee Titans held on there. If it was me, maybe just kick the field goal, but Hilger
in the shotgun.
Bontrager in motion. Hilger keeps. 1st down, I believe, just a couple. And that'll be a 1st down for the Lions at the Green Forest 15 there. You're right, Ken, and everybody's expecting Bontrager, and Hilger just pulls it out at the last second and finds the hole.
I'm going to one-up you on the Buffalo reference. Is Red Hilger better than Josh Allen at quarterback right now? Because he did get the 1st down, but, yeah, everyone's expecting your star running back to get it. Just pull it out and let your offensive line do the work for the foot.
Well, Hilger not quite as tall, I would say. And he'll hand off to Bontrager here, and Bontrager carrying a couple of Tigers, and he'll fight forward for about 4 yards.
We saw this week 0. He's such a physical runner. I mean, you could see him dragging 2-3 Wolverines down the field. And once you get past the line of scrimmage, that's what you have to. You have to be able to carry a couple players with you. But now you're in that situation where you could sort of, again, take it out of Bontrager's chest and just throw one to the end zone right here. This is a good shot to take a shot.
2nd and 7. And looks like Gravette will take a timeout with 4:20 left to go in the first quarter. we will take a timeout here on Football Friday Night, presented by Northeastern State University.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University.
Well, as we come back here to Bill Gatto Field for 2nd down and 7. Lions moving the ball down the field. Hilger going to keep it on the option. And he'll get down to about the 6-yard line as Green Forest stands strong there. Score to update you on here in the 4A1. Shiloh Saints already up 7-0 over Elkins with 8:52 to go in the first quarter as Eli Wisdom hit Hutchinson as receiver for a 9-yard touchdown pass on their opening drive.
Yeah, Shiloh's offense can play with just about anyone outside of maybe the 7A and Pulaski Academy. They are an effective group, and you'd expect that one to be a high-scoring game. So now 3rd down and short here. Do you try and pick up the first down or go for the end zone?
And we'll see what Kelby Bohannon calls here. Looking to Bontrager again. He'll cut it back. And he'll be short of the line to gain.
And this is the situation. You sort of centered the ball up there. It's essentially a glorified PAT at this point. Do you bring your field goal kicker out, or do you say, we've come this far, let's go ahead and just attempt to at least get the first down, if not the touchdown?
Well, that shot right there should answer that question for you. Rhett
That
Hilger
did, yeah.
staying in at quarterback. Kelby Bohannon going to roll the dice again here. Only have 6 yards from pay dirt. Just has to get one for a new set of downs. And they'll move Hilger out to the edge. Has some blockers. We'll see the mark. Touchdown. Gravette. They strike first on a Rhett Hilger scramble from 6 out.
Just such an impressive set. From week 0 to now, we've seen Kelby Bohannon in this offense draw up plays to play to Rhett's strength. I don't know if they knew exactly what they had back then, but now you're seeing sets like this where it's just a run all the way. And the problem with these quarterback runs is you account for everyone except him most of the time. And Rhett Hilger, if you forget about him, he'll make you pay.
And great job there by Carl Bontrager, able to move out there, be the lead blocker as PAT is up. And PAT is good. Our score now, the Gravette Lions 7, the Green Forest Tigers nothing with 2:52 left to go in the first quarter. We will pause momentarily and have more Football Friday Night when we return.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Welcome back to Bill Gatto Field as the Green Forest Tigers will try and answer after the Rhett Hilger touchdown run. And Tigers will have good starting field position as they fight there. To pick up a couple more yards there. That was Navarre Perez, the senior, on the return. And it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Tigers. This will be the 2nd time we'll see Greg Tibbetts' offense out on the field.
And if you're Coach Tibbett on the sideline, you've got to start incorporating passes into this offense. And Gravette really stacked their defense last drive and made it a point to stop the run first. And if you're Gravette, you let them beat you in the pass game a couple times before you adjust again.
Fraga just going to keep it himself. And he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. As actually, they'll give him about a yard, 2nd down and 9 here.
And that's just another look in the run game there to keep Gravit honest. Fraga, we saw make a couple really good throws when we were here 2 weeks ago. If you can draw up some quick slants or maybe even like a screen pass, just to high percentage passes that you can get his confidence up with.
Here's an opportunity for one of those now. Fraga will fire it downfield, and that one in and out of the hands there for Trevor Stark. Credit that one to the receiver.
Yeah, that was about as well as you could place the ball. You see here Fraga's just going to fake the handoff and roll out here. And when you roll out this way, you've really got no protection, but he beats him with his legs, and then obviously Stark, maybe a little bit too high. Obviously, we talked about the slant on the field there. But
hits you in the hands, you got to catch it.
Yeah, if it hits you in the hands, especially if there's no defender around you, you've got to come down with that ball.
Great job there by Fraga, able to feel the pressure. Well, Tigers will throw again. Actually, Fraga tuck it, and he'll get out to his own 40, I believe, and that'll be where 3rd down, I believe, or excuse me, 4th down will be. It'll be about 4th down and 4 here for the Tigers.
That's kind of in the they're going to bring the punt team out. That's kind of in the area where you think, okay, we had a couple good looks on offense there. Maybe we want to keep that little momentum going. But if you, for some reason, don't pick up those 3 yards, that is another short field for Hilger and Gravit's offense to work with. So punt it away and trust your defense can maybe get a stop this time.
So punter for the Tigers is number 88, Freddie Juarez Jr.
Called his name a couple times we were here.
Yeah, great punt.
Wow.
A laser beam that'll drop down inside the Gravit Lion 15. That was a great punt. I've never seen a ball turn over like that before.
It looked like a pass in the air almost, the spiral on it, and it just died. That's incredible. All right, well, Freddie Juarez Jr., great wide receiver. He can play defense effectively and punt the ball. A laser in the air. And that's got to give your defense some confidence here. You've got 85 yards to defend now.
Yeah, a long field here for the Lions as they're going to look to extend their lead from 7 to 14. And they'll break the huddle. Again, it'll be Hilger and Bontrager in the backfield, and Bontrager will get the call on 1st down, avoids a couple of defenders, and fights forward for a hard 5 or 6 yards there on 1st and 10.
Bontrager is just such a physical running back. We've seen several of them this season, and he's got to be up there as one of the more impressive ones because once he gets past that line, he's got no protection, and he's still fighting and turning his legs. And that gives you some confidence, especially if you're Red Hilger, you pull it out from his chest and throw a deep ball because Green Forest is guessing run.
Well, another score update coming in from the 4A1 from Rowan Jackson McAfee. Prairie Grove strikes first. Alex Helms runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown. Peyton Higgins scores for a 1-yard touchdown, makes it a 7-0 ball game for the Tigers. As the Tigers here are on defense trying to not give up a 1st down, and looks like the Lions will move the sticks.
Yeah, that was effectively a screen pass right there that worked to perfection. The problem with this for Green Forest is that they're more than capable of defending the run, but when you have a quarterback like Hilger who can play in all sorts of different ways, it's hard to you're almost guessing. And more likely than not, if he's got 3 ways to beat you, you're going to guess wrong.
We'll see. 1st down and 10 again. Again to Bontrager on 1st down. Big, strong run there. Coming through the hole hard. And that'll do it for the 1st quarter of play. We'll take a look at it. Here's zeros on the scoreboard. As Gravit will win the first one. 7-0 are the Lions ahead. They have the football driving when we start the second on the other side of this break.
On your way to get one of the best cheeseburgers in the
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network. as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
As you see there, number 1, see it on his helmet, on his jersey, Rhett Hilger. Got a short second down here. He's going to look to the air, across the middle. Bontrager, lots of green grass in front of him. And he will score. Great throw there.
Wow.
59-yard touchdown pass for Rhett Hilger and Carl Bontrager. A lot of yards after catch there.
Just incredible here. It's just a setup. You look like you're going to pitch to your running back. No, Bontrager's in by himself. Really reminds me of Christian McCaffrey with his hands, with his speed, and with his versatility there. 6 for Gravit, 6 very quickly for Gravit, and this offense is day and night different from what we saw in Oklahoma a month or two ago.
You know, this is, I think, we didn't see it in week 0 against Bayan just because of how good that team was, and a lot of young guys on this team. As extra point will be short there, and our score will remain Gravit 13, Green Forest 0. But this is, I think, what Kelby Bohannon wants for his offense, the vision that he has going forward, and Rhett Hilger is the man for the job.
Oh, my goodness, is he ever. It was shaky coming out of week 0, but you can't take much from that. You're playing one of the powerhouses at Bayan. It's your first game of the season, a lot of young guys, but from then to now, I mean, Hilger has settled into that role nicely. Their offensive line is getting great protection. And when you have a difference maker like Bontrager who can run, who can catch the ball, and who plays defense as well as he does, this team is really bought into what Kelby Bohannon is preaching.
Yeah, you know, and we were talking about this in week 0, that there was a little bit of even a quarterback controversy at Gravit coming into this season. Was it going to be Rhett Hilger or was it going to be Hunter Carter, number 8, the starting quarterback? And you can clearly see from week 0 to now why Kelby Bohannon favored Rhett Hilger, and it's been a good decision.
He just looks comfortable, and that's not half the battle, but it's part of it. He's comfortable back there. He knows when he needs to evade tackles, and he's got an arm. I mean, the guy is throwing it 30, 40 yards down the field effortlessly and hit Bontrager there in stride easily.
Well, now it'll be time for Green Forest to answer once again.
2 possessions now. You don't have to get away from your run game, but you've got to start incorporating some effective passing at some point.
This one returned here for the Tigers. Tigers trying to get to the edge and going the wrong way to start. There will be Navarre Perez as he got up to about the 30 and then just went the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you just have to get as far up the field and take the hit as possible. I mean, he looked like he tried to, go the other way, and you can't risk losing yardage like that. Now you're backed up a little bit farther than you would have been. But now, Isaiah Fraga and company down 2 scores. This offense is built to respond. They can respond. How do they? They come out with a run first. Do they try and go to the air immediately? We'll see. Looks like more of a run set here. So,
end around here for the Tigers. Gets a couple on 1st and 10. That's going to be Isaac Meridia on 1st down and 10, and fight forward for about 4 there.
That's what we saw 2 weeks ago when we were here. We saw them incorporate their wide receivers and even their running backs in sort of jet sweep and motion eye candy, as I like to call it. But that's effective, and now you got 3 out or you got 4 wide. Different looks.
And they'll just turn around and hand it off to Barrett Phillips, and he'll get about 2 more yards and make this a 3rd and about 4. Manageable position on schedule. Might want a few more yards, but on schedule here for the Tigers. Don't have to get away from anything.
Yeah, other than a 1st down, you really can't complain. Now you're in a 3rd and short. I mean, you could roll Fraga out here. You could do even a run if you felt that confident, but the playbook's open here, which is nice.
Well, they'll set up a screen here near side. And it'll be interesting to see where the spot is. It's close to the 1st down. They'll give him the 1st down as fighting there for extra yards was Joel Salgado on the completion there from Fraga. And the Tigers keep the ball.
And a confidence and momentum builder right there for Green Forest. You're not going to give the ball away immediately, and now you can settle in sort of. Your offense can take a breath, and you can go to work with the ground and pound, which we know is effective.
Tight formation here for the Tigers. And Fraga just going to keep it himself, looking for the edge, has some green grass in front of him, just has to beat Rhett Hilger. And into the end zone goes Isaiah Fraga, 6 to 13 now, Tigers on the board.
And that's just sort of a triple option look there. He had a couple options. You see, you're going to bring it on the end around early, and now Fraga just says, let me take this, sees a hole, and he's got the speed. Rhett Hilger, his counterpart, the only one he has to beat. Rhett makes a great attempt, but Fraga in the end zone for 6, and Green Forest right back into this game with the shot of adrenaline they needed. And it looks like they might go for it. Go for 2.
It looks like they're going to go for 2. Interesting formation. Power formation here for the Tigers. Barrett Phillips fighting for the end zone. He'll get the 2-point conversion. And just like that, Tigers right back into this ball game, 13-8 in favor of the Lions. But a big chunk taken out there with that beautiful run there on the faux triple option, we'll call it there, for Fraga.
Faux triple option is what we'll deem it. I like that, Stephen. But if you look at the 2-point conversion, it's just really just a pitch it, and my guys are bigger than your guys, and get into the end zone for 2 more points. But these are 2 offenses. Well, the RPO for Gravit can strike quickly. We saw sort of a spread look there on their last drive. You went fake triple or faux triple option and just found a hole. That's what this offense from Green Forest can do. It's a ground and pound, and at some point they're going to find a hole that you can't cover and get into it. And some great shots there from Charlie Parsley of our quarterback Isaiah Fraga, who just got in the end zone.
Doesn't even look winded.
No,
Isaiah Fraga doesn't even
could
look
go
winded.
right now. Could go again.
And he might have to. A lot of these players do go both ways, but I believe he'll stay on the sideline. But great run there by Fraga to get this game back down to a 5-point ball game. And a sideline warning on Gravit, second one we've seen this season. We had one back in Catoosa a couple weeks ago. Get a couple of those before it become a penalty.
It's nice they give a warning before they start tacking on yardage there. Not exactly sure. We didn't see it. We were just impressed by the play, talking about that. Didn't see exactly what Gravit did, but don't do that again, I guess. And now this game is sort of flipped on its head. We thought it might have started. I thought it was going to be a blowout. Now it's a 5-point game.
Green Forest has answered the punch off the big Bontrager completion for the touchdown last play. Bontrager here with the football. And he's going to go down awkwardly.
That was got hit by a couple guys before he went down. Bontrager just cannot stress enough how physical a runner he is, and that's what you want. I mean, what you see here, too, is 2 teams, Steven, like we talked about in the pregame. These teams are both mathematically still in contention for the playoffs. Green Forest controls their own destiny, but these 2 teams look like a fire has been lit inside of them. Playing with more energy, playing with more physicality, and you're seeing different play types that we haven't in the last 2 times we've seen Green Forest and Gravit.
Now the Green Forest defense has to make a stop and try and slow down this red-hot Lion offense. As Bontrager will get the call on 1st and 10, and he'll pick up about a yard.
A little extracurricular in the secondary there. Not exactly sure what anyone was doing down there, but now you look at if Green Forest can get a couple stops here, get the ball back, the momentum you can see is kind of shifting. That being said, Gravit can go over the top at any point and get a first down here. They've got the passing game to do it. And I'd be shocked if we don't see a pass either on this down or 3rd down from Hilger. Especially with one-on-one down below at the bottom of your screen.
Well, Tony Romo sitting next to me calls pass play. It is a pass. And just out in front there of number 7, Mason Meeker, the junior, trying to get that on the post.
Yeah, it looked like they just kind of called 4 verts and sent all the receivers downfield. I would have liked to see a check down option there, but Hilger showing off his arm there. He's got an arm. And now you've sort of forced yourself into this passing play, so your offense knows that, their defense knows that, and once again, an empty set is going to scream, it could be a quarterback run here.
Well, slants here. Bontrager able to get it, gets the first down, and out to midfield is just got right inside of the Green Forest secondary there without much trouble. We'll take another look at it here.
Carl Bontrager could be, if there was fantasy football at the high school level, would be my first overall pick. The kid can do everything. He's impressive. He's got great hands for running back, and he even got hit as he caught it and made a first down.
First down and 10, midfield for the Lions. Triple option again. Hilger will pitch out to Bontrager, and he'll lay a couple of Tigers and somehow get about 4 out of that play.
At this level, I mean, you have to have an effective running back, and we've seen every 4A school that we've covered so far does have that. And just another run from nothing to something.
Well, another score to update you on quickly. Prairie Grove up now 14-0 with 5:58 in the second, as Ethan Miller had a 63-yard touchdown reception. And Hilger going to look to throw here. Great defensive play there for the Tigers. Blew that play up right in the backfield. Number 2, Gabe Holland coming down, laying the boom.
Yeah, and if you're Hilger, you just have to have that vision, knowing that your receiver's about to get hit, and maybe look elsewhere or take the run for yourself. That run equates to about nothing, and now you got a third down, and I would call it manageable, but a 3rd and 6.
The Tigers have a chance to get back on the offensive side of the football here, but then again, we've seen Kelby Bohannon not afraid to go for it on 4th down. Again, they'll operate with this 5-receiver set, spread out the Tiger defense. Hilger looking downfield, pressure in his face. And again, that was 11, Ethan Ellis coming in there just past the sticks, picks up a first down.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes, or not in his eyes, but just in his vision here. Red Hilger knows he's about to get hit, takes the last second, finds the receiver, Ethan Ellis, and that's just enough for a first down. Gravit's offense operating at they're operating where they need to be right now, picking up first downs and eating up chunks of this clock.
And, we saw these sort of plays a lot in Week 0 against Vian, and those were throws that Hilger was missing. Ellis was dropping, as again they'll go out to Ellis on a screen out to the far side, and he'll pick up about 5. But those were throws that were being missed by this Lion offense. It's good to see this team has settled down over the course of the season. This young team has settled in.
Yeah, it's really just fun to see day and night the progressions they've made under Bohannon in his second year, or third year, excuse me.
Score update here while we have an injury timeout. Shiloh up now 22-0 over Elkins at the end of the first quarter. And on the other side of it, from our update that we have, Elkins will face a 3rd and 24 deep in their own territory. It's what happens when you play Shiloh at this level. It's nothing against Elkins. It's just they are very good.
The problem with this 4A1 is that obviously when Shiloh and Prairie Grove leave, it'll be a reset, like a hard reset. But those two are just so far above the rest, and then even of those two, Shiloh's so far above Prairie Grove, it's just hard to figure out where you're at. Elkins is probably the 3rd team to beat, if not the 2nd team to beat there. But Shiloh's just got so much talent on both sides of the ball, and that offense can strike in a hurry.
Well, looks like an official's timeout here on the field as the Lions will break the huddle. They're ready to go. And on the other side of the field there, Tigers now breaking their huddle as head coach Greg Tibbett calls in some instruction there before they go back out on the field for a 2nd down and 6 here.
And this could very well be a nice Green Forest chance to sort of, recuperate and let your defense reset. There was some tempo to Gravette. Not fast, but they had a methodical tempo to themselves, and that's been disrupted.
They found their paces. It'll be Bontrager on 2nd and 6, and I think it'll be about a 3rd and 5 after they give him a yard.
And now you're in a situation, again, you're probably 2 down territory, too close to punt, too far, way too far for a field goal at this level. You'd be better off just taking 2 downs if you don't get this one, if you don't get 3rd down here. But you can see some quick slants here. Hilger could just pull it and run for himself. There's many options you could take.
And we'll see here again, 5 receivers. And again, Bontrager on the slant, wide open. 1st down and 10. We'll see if the Tigers adjust to that play, as that thing's been open all night long.
I'm telling you, he's a CMC type, a Christian McCaffrey type. He's so versatile in the backfield. You don't really see that anymore. But just catches the ball, knows exactly where he is, and fights for a few more yards. But he's got sure hands, he's got speed, and he's a great running back and receiver.
Well, new running back entering into the game here, number 42, Josiah Mcgee. And he'll get his name called here on 1st and 10, and he'll be met at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he'll fall for just a couple of yards, make it a 2nd down and 9 here.
And now you're down here. What sort of red zone type offense do you draw up? If you're Coach Bohannon, you've got your options open, but you've established the run game so credibly that you could easily just pull the ball out from your running back's chest and take a deep shot here. That would be a great look here, because Gravette looks like they're biting on the run.
Will be a quarterback run here from Hilger. Tigers in the backfield. Couple of them there make the stop. I believe the guy who initiated the contact, number 88, Freddie Juarez Jr., brought Hilger down in the backfield.
And that's just a situation. I'm not sure if Hilger has the power to audible out, but you could see the Gravette, pressure coming pretty quickly. A quick pass right there to one of your receivers downfield takes care of that. But now you're set up in a 3rd and long. Again, you're still probably too far out for your kicker and field goal to be in field goal range. You could try and get the whole thing here, or you could go for 2 plays.
Hilger looking to pass, pressure, and that one nearly intercepted, but I think a roughing the passer will be coming the way of the Lions here as Jesmani Lopez gets in there and knocks Hilger down after that ball is well out.
Yeah, and that's in real time to me, that looked like a bang-bang play. Granted, I was focused on the throw. Not sure if there was anything terrible on there.
And there'll be the roughing the passer call, and 1st and 10. Actually, probably be 1st and goal for the Lions after the penalty, as there's not much yardage left to go down there. Score update, also to update you on here in the 4A1, the other game of the 4 that are going on. Great one over just down the road here from Green Forest. The Berryville Bobcats up 21-14 in the middle of the 2nd quarter right now over the Huntsville Eagles. That game big for playoff implications for the Berryville Bobcats, for the Green Forest Tigers, and the Gravette Lions here tonight.
Yeah, if that score holds, the winner of this game would be in a playoff spot mathematically.
Well, Bontrager trying to fight forward, and he'll get about a yard there on 1st down.
Maybe I heard my pregame speech and Berryville was insulted, but that's sort of a surprising development. We'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, interesting. These games as we get down the stretches, again, it'll be Bontrager's call, and he'll fall forward for a handful more, as looks like the Green Forest fans might have wanted a flag in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of extracurricular activity, we'll call it, going on after the whistles blow the play dead. These refs are sort of letting the kids play, as they say these days.
3.5 to go here in the 2nd quarter of play. Gravette trying to extend their 5-point lead.
More importantly, knock some time off the clock, because they know that the Green Forest offense, while it's a sure offense, it's not a fast one. So the less time they give the ball back to them with before the half, the better.
I expect with about 3 seconds on the play clock, Kelby Bohannon's going to call a timeout, and he does.
Yeah.
Just at the 3-minute mark. We will take a timeout as well. Our score, Gravette 13, Green Forest 8. More when we return.
3rd down and about 7 yards.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Education at Northeastern State University prepares educators, mental health providers, and fitness or health professionals with undergraduate and graduate programs. Choose from degrees in elementary, secondary education, special education, health and human performance, psychology, and more. Be ready from day one at Northeastern State University.
Welcome back to Football Friday Night on the Southern Sports Network, presented by Northeastern State University. The Riverhawks out in Tahlequah.
And look who's lined up in the slot. Bontrager.
And they're going to give it. Actually, Hilger going to keep it again. Already scored once. And he'll be into the end zone once again. Score now 20-8. As Hilger just confident to call his own number there twice now and has 2 rushing touchdowns on the evening.
And when you can mix and match your 2 stars like Hilger and Bontrager here, I mean, you're going to see, because I called it, I'm sure the Green Forest defense was also thinking a handoff here. And Hilger's going to say, all right, well, I'll pull it and do it myself. Don't forget about me. 6 for them, and they're going to go and try and make it 8 here, I believe. The offense is still on the field.
Looks like Hilger there running over a couple of safeties, and he'll pitch out. Bontrager looking for the edge. He'll get there. And now our score will be 21-8 here at Bill Gatto Field. We'll take another look at it here as last-minute pitch there from Hilger, and Bontrager gets out to the edge.
Yeah, just an option that was never truly going to be an option. Hilger was just trying to buy some time for his running back, and he finds the edge.
Well, we will step away momentarily. Our score 21-8 in favor of the Lions.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network, as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
Well, the ball there, as you welcome back to Bill Gatto Field here in Green Forest, will go out of play and be an illegal procedure on the kicking team. And great field position to start for the Tigers.
Yeah, and with 2:41, you can really, and I believe they have their full complement of time. They do have their full complement of timeouts left. You could really run your offense to its fullest potential here. Not really a 2-minute drill yet, but maybe we see some throws from Isaiah Fraga coming out here trying to get up or trying to pick up some chunk yardage here to start.
Yeah, as you see, he breaks the huddle out there, brings the play call in from head coach Greg Tibbett. 2:41, plenty of time. And is Fraga just going to keep here on 1st and 10, and Barrett Phillips not helping out his quarterback there with a missed block. That's my dad would call a lookout block, as the player runs by, just yell, "Look out!"
That's incredible. But yeah, Fraga really running for his life there, and side to side you can try and find something open, but if you don't get some effective blocking downfield, you're not going to pick up much.
Well, a couple more scores to update. Shiloh Christian Saints up now 29-0 in the second quarter.
I just don't know if anyone in the 4A is stopping them this year.
Well, Fraga looking downfield, caught incomplete for a first down there. Great catch there by Joel Salgado with the soft feet, able to get both inbounds and pick up the first down.
That's the first real shot downfield we've seen from Fraga today. We know he can do it. He's got the arm strength, but rolling out here with a little protection just puts a nice ball into his receiver right there.
Tigers near midfield. Another score to update you on the battle of the Red Dogs and the Purple Dogs. Fayetteville High School up 14-7 right now over Springdale. We'll keep more on that as Fraga going to throw a screen, and that'll be a flag. I imagine that probably will be a hold, maybe a face mask if it's a defensive penalty, but looked like the receiver might have had his hands on the outside there.
It's a big call either way, because if it's a hold, it knocks back your offense pretty drastically. If it's a face mask, you're really in shooting distance of the end zone at that point, and it's a hold.
It'll be an offensive hold there. Got to keep those hands inside the shoulders, and that'll undo all the positivity there on that last play, on that last completion that the Tigers had.
Yeah, and you just hate that because, it wasn't a terribly necessary hold. It was a minimal gain to start with, and now you're getting knocked back all this way. First and country, first down's in Branson, basically, here.
It'll be 1st down and 20. Fraga looking down the field, going to heave one. And just out in front of his intended target, Trevor Stark, as Isaiah Fraga there showing off the arm talent.
Yeah, I mean, you give him a chance to roll out and set his feet like that, and he delivers a really solid throw just over the head of Stark. But now in 2nd and 20, the visitors only have one timeout left. You start to wonder maybe you run the ball a couple times, maybe you just keep the clock running, because now you're looking at giving the ball back with a couple more incompletions to grab it with plenty of time on the clock.
Well, another score just coming in as Huntsville's just scored. They're now down 20-21, waiting a point-after attempt. As you see there, Freddie Juarez Jr. gets his first rushing carry of the night. That one comes with about 2 minutes to go in the first half as Huntsville trying to rally back into this one after they dug themselves a little bit of a hole early on.
Yeah, Berryville trying to play spoiler. And theoretically, I mean, they're not out of the shot of a playoff spot. But if
they need the most help,
they need a lot of help, Steven. But they could do it, and tonight's a good start if they can beat Huntsville.
Fraga looking downfield and trying to hit Joel Salgado there. That one too tall for Joel. They'll bring up 4th down and 17.
And now with the incomplete pass, minute 14 on the clock, and a timeout in your pocket, you'd have to think Coach Bohannon and company are going to try and get on the field and score again. Especially depending on what this punt's like. I mean, we've seen Freddie Juarez Jr.
with a
punt
boot.
the ball. I mean, yeah, laser beam is I think what you called it earlier. You know, if it's an effective punt, maybe just take a couple runs going in the locker room.
Low snap. Juarez able to handle it, nearly blocked. But it'll be a tight spiral, and that ball will have eyes and roll down inside the Gravette 20-yard line, and that'll be where Rhett Hilger and the Lion offense will start over as they try and extend their lead now with another touchdown. Importantly, Green Forest will get the ball to start the second half as they're going to try and cling on to the deficit that they have.
And I think if Gravette gets the ball to start the second half, you probably see them just kneel the ball or a couple runs. But with the timeout left and your offense is potent as it is right now, I see no reason to try and not take a couple shots downfield and score here. I mean, it's only a 2-possession game. If you can blow it wide open before halftime, I would do that.
Well, the Eagles of Huntsville didn't get the point after attempt, so the Berryville Bobcats cling to a 1-point lead right down the road. It's Hilger going to call his own number out to the edge. 1st down and a little bit more with a minute left to go on the game clock.
And out of bounds, and more importantly, I believe.
Take another look at it here.
Yeah, just another one of those sets where you think 4 wide, he's going to throw it, and Hilger with the legs that can beat you just tucks it and runs.
So Gravette there, looking at that replay again. Lucky that they didn't throw a flag on Sam Mayo there for an eligible receiver downfield, as the big offensive lineman is well down the field before Hilger left the pocket there. Hilger going to try and float one in. And that one will fall incomplete there. Intended target, Mason Meeker, couldn't handle that one. And Hilger just dropped that into a bucket, basically, around all those Green Forest Tigers.
It was an impressive throw. Either his receiver catches it or nobody does. But now, importantly, you got to get this 1st down. You got to, keep progressing here, because if you don't kill enough time off this clock and punt again, how long can you stretch out a minute? But be shocked if we don't see it go to Bontrager at some point on this drive.
Well, he's on the far side of the screen.
Yeah, then the slot again.
And he'll run a little in and out. Looking downfield, Hilger looks that way. And that one incomplete. Looked like Trevor Stark there for the Tigers nearly came out of there with an interception.
We know that, Bontrager is probably his favorite target out of the backfield sometimes. You can see a Freddie Juarez reception here and there. We saw a couple weeks ago Stark is one of his favorite receivers as well. Or, excuse me, I'm on the wrong team. Yeah, I'm on the wrong team.
Anyway, it's 3rd and 10. Everybody's human, Ken. People make mistakes. But it'll be 3rd and 10 here now for the Lions. High snap. And Hilger going to have some pressure. He'll evade. And into the second level, near the 1st down marker, will go Rhett Hilger. We go under 40 seconds to go in the half. At halftime, make sure to join us for the Todd's Coffee Roastery halftime show. We'll get you some scores, some analysis on the first half here.
And now with it being fourth down, I think you can let it go to half at this point if you want, and I think you probably do.
Yeah, there's a 8-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. The play clock ahead of the game clock here, and indeed I think that's what Kelly Bohannon's going to elect to do and head to the halftime locker room here, which is, we saw this earlier today, is in a really cool WPA gym that was built here at Green Forest on their campus back in the 1930s, I believe.
Yeah.
Looked like something straight out of the movie Hoosiers.
What a cool campus this is as well. It's so spread out and nice, but yeah, what a locker room to have.
A locker room to have as we get the halftime intermission. Our score here, the Gravette Lions, the visiting Lions, up 21-8 over the home Green Forest Tigers. We will step away momentarily. When we return, we'll have the Todd's Coffee Roastery halftime show.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is, there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
In 1851, the Cherokee ignited the lamp of learning in the wilderness. For more than a century, this has been a gathering place where minds are developed and lifelong relationships are made, where dreams find direction. The lamp burns brightly still at Northeastern State University.
Having a body is tough. Exercising, sports, work, and life itself can leave you feeling tense at any age. The Trainer's Table is here for you. No appointments or memberships needed, because you can't always plan ahead for when you're physically sore. The Trainer's Table. Let us stretch you.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University.
Hi, Peyton Hillis here for Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing. I've scored for the Hogs and for the NFL, but now my whole family has scored big finding this amazing store. Ozark Sportsman has everything a sportsman wants. The best firearm selection and gun safe choices anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. And a 15-lane indoor range and so much more. Ozark Outpost Clothing has all the hot boutique brands for women. And hey guys, our favorite brands also. Score big savings on top brands and follow me to Ozark Sports Supply and Casual Clothing.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Some might say I'm an ideas guy. I'd like to think of myself more as a doer. I like to make things happen, both for myself and for the people my businesses serve. Signature Bank has been crucial in that for me, from starting my moving businesses to expanding into mobile minis, all the way to our current office and warehouse space. Signature has advised and supported me every step of the way.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, In-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Hello everyone, I'm Bob Stoops. I'd like to introduce you to Southern Sports Network as they will broadcast high school sports for Catoosa, Chickasaw, Bayan, Inola, and Green Forest. Download the SSN app and like them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Boomer Sooner to everybody.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, and more.
Well, welcome back here to Bill Gatto Field, home of the Green Forest Tigers, on tonight's Southern Football Friday Night, brought to you by Northeastern State University. Now it's time for the Todd's Coffee Roastery halftime report here. A couple of scores in the 4A1 to talk about right off the top. Shiloh Saints up 29-0 over the Elkins Elks. Last score we have reported there in the second quarter. Big game there. Other scores to report for you. The Prairie Grove Tigers up 21-0 at halftime over the Gentry Pioneers, who are trying to avoid two straight losses after going 6-0 to start the season. And last but not least, right down the road here from Green Forest, the county seat of Carroll County, the Bearville Bobcats up 21-20 over the Huntsville Eagles with a little bit of time left before the halftime whistle.
Yeah, those three have, massive implications on seeding. If you look at Berryville-Huntsville right there, that's big for a myriad of reasons. If Huntsville loses tonight, the winner of this game mathematically would be in that fifth playoff spot for now. I think there's some tiebreakers you'd have to go through, and more importantly, would put Berryville right in the, I'd say, thick of it. Loosely, they would need help for the fifth playoff spot. But you're looking at, Gentry, a team we saw a couple weeks ago, 6-1. They were 6-0 coming in. We knew and talked about in the postgame that they had not a David Goliath sort of matchup in the second half of their season, but they had a hard schedule to finish. And Prairie Grove proven why they're probably the second best team in the 4A4 right now. And then Shiloh. I'm not sure I can give you any better analysis than that. They are running Elkins out of the building right now.
Yep, Jeff Connolly has built a great program there in Springdale as the Shiloh Christian Saints looking to improve their win total tonight. You see there on the field the Gravette Lion Marching Band performing tonight. Seen lots of great marching bands throughout the year, but getting back to that point, the way things could swing here in the 4A1, that fifth spot is wide open for a lot of different reasons. Berryville, the least likely, smallest percent chance of making the postseason, but a win tonight doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and mathematically, every team is. I think Elkins is clinched a playoff spot regardless. Mathematically, every team could clinch or could make the playoffs or miss out right now, which is sort of fun. You're talking fractions for some of these teams. It's not likely Shiloh misses the playoffs, and it's not likely that Berryville makes the playoffs. But everyone has a chance still, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and looking at Elkins, the reason we can, pretty confidently say, I would imagine they're locked in is they have a head-to-head tiebreaker over Huntsville, they have a head-to-head tiebreaker over Gravette, and they have a head-to-head tiebreaker over Berryville and Green Forest, I believe. That pretty much locks them into finishing no worse than I would imagine fourth here in the 4A1, just because the worst they can do is 4-3, and the best any of those chasing teams can do is 4-3, and they have the head-to-head tiebreaker anyway.
Yeah, I think that math checks out to me. But yeah, Elkins we feel like is in. Shiloh Christian with the win, and it sounds like they're going to win tonight is in. Gentry probably not 100% yet, but you're pretty close there. And Prairie Grove now that they're up on Gentry at half tonight, correct? Or at least
21-0 at half. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty comfortable shutout right now. They're probably in. So mathematically, everyone can make or miss right now, but you're really looking at the fifth spot down to 7th or 8th.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Some other important tiebreakers still ahead. Gentry, as we know, has the tiebreaker against the Green Forest Tigers. They have a tiebreaker win over Huntsville as well. But importantly, that last week of the season could be very crucial for both the Gravette Lions and the Gentry Pioneers going into the brawl for Benton County.
Yeah, that could really do a lot in the way of a playoff spot, and it could be the one that we're talking about is the winners possibly in the playoffs. I mean, we just don't know yet. You can sort of see the playoff spots taking place right now, but you'll have some clarity tonight on our post game show when we get the final scores. There's still a lot to be determined, and the big dogs like Shiloh and Gentry and Elkins are going to have a say in who makes the playoffs as well. I think they all play contenders to finish the season too, so a very exciting finish to the 4A1.
Yeah, and that's what you want, going all the way to the bitter end. And so these teams, when they make the postseason, they'll be playing, I believe, against the 4A4, which right now is being led by the Ozark Hillbillies. And I believe the score we have on that one is Ozark's up 7-0 at half over the Pottsville Apaches. But right behind them, the Lamar Warriors and the Mena Bearcats, not too far behind them. A couple of games here and there, either way, could flip around who gets a home playoff game, who gets to have to travel on the road, because I definitely bet nobody wants to go down to Mena with that place south of Fort Smith, way down towards the southern part of the state of Arkansas here.
Yeah, traveling becomes an issue, and home field advantage is one of those big things, but like the 4A1 that we've been talking about, the 4A4 is we kind of can see the top 3 or 4 taking place. It's just going to be a matter of who's got the number 1 by their name and who's got the 2 by their name. So seeding will be a big thing. You can kind of put Ozark and Lamar and even Mena down as making the playoffs for the 4A4 yet, but again, a lot to still be determined there for seeding.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as we trickle down the weeks. There's only 3 games left in the regular season for some of these teams. For these seniors, that's all they got left. If they don't make the postseason, 3 games, I'm sure everybody either on this sideline or the opposing sideline wants to have a chance at one more game come November.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, both of these teams, while it would be great and they're mathematically, they're right there at the 5th spot, especially what we're seeing down the road in Berryville tonight with Huntsville struggling. They're both mathematically right there. These 2 teams are still, specifically Gravette, very young, and the head coach is either in their 2nd or 3rd year. This is a almost a success so far. It's above schedule. It's ahead of schedule, and if you make the playoffs, that's even better. Obviously, both teams made the playoffs last year, but it was an opt-in situation. You make the playoffs for real this year, that's a big confidence builder.
Yeah, and it's crazy, coming into this game. Actually, if you go back a week, the Lions had yet to win on the season. They're 1-6 coming into this ballgame with a conference win. You look at that record and you say, how could this team even be a playoff team? But that's the games that matter. The non-conference you can throw out of the way and then take care of business when you can.
Yeah, the weird thing about Gravette to me is that, you said, they won their last game last week, or their first game last week, excuse me. This is a team on the field that doesn't look like they just won their first game. They're firing on all cylinders, and the good thing about the high school playoff system is that, not every year, but specifically this year, it's coming down to the wire in the 4A. You don't see that sometimes. Like, if you go higher up in classifications, it's really, 4 big teams and, 4 teams that are really just trying to make it by for the season. This is a very competitive division.
Yeah, and to your point, with a team that, doesn't look like they're 1-6, you look at some of the scores that they've played this year. Of course, okay, we'll take week 0 against Vian off the board
Vian's
just because
a powerhouse. Yeah.
They have top, 100 recruits on their team in 2A. That's a little bit of an unfair advantage there. And and credit to the athletic director and the coaching staff at Gravette for scheduling these hard non-conference games. They lose by a point to Inola, the Longhorns out in Oklahoma. Yeah. They lose to a great Pryor Tiger team out in Oklahoma. And then you turn into conference play when they play Elkins in week 1. They lost by 4 points, 42-38, against one of the better teams in this league.
Yeah, I think we talked about it week 0 on our first broadcast this season where you look at Gravette's schedule ahead and you were scared for them, but you were impressed they were scheduling this sort of competition, and now it's paying off. You see them get their first win last week. Granted, now you're in a playoff position, and I think that adversity in the early season, getting blown out by Vian and playing those close games, that could come back around for you. You could take what you learn and you could channel it into a 1, 2, 3 wins here at the end of the season. And if you look at the schedule, Green Forest this week, Shiloh next week. That's sort of a hard one, and then Gentry to close. It's not impossible to see 2 wins on that schedule.
Yeah, you go 2 out of 1, you're in the postseason. Yeah. Other side of the coin, if Green Forest can win tonight, win next week against Huntsville, they basically have one hand and about 3 fingers on the other hand on the postseason in the state of Arkansas come November when they take on Berryville.
Yeah, the thing about Green Forest schedule is if you look at the 2, and you're looking at it side by side right now, obviously they're playing each other this week, and then the final two games, Gravitte's got Huntsville and Gentry. Those are two teams that are making the playoffs. I mean, not mathematically, I guess, yet, but they will be. And then Green Forest has a road trip to Huntsville down the road, and then Berryville to close out here at the stadium for what I can only assume will be senior night. I mean, if Green Forest can come back into this one in the second half and light a fire in their team, you could see 3-0 right there.
Yeah, and, it's something we've seen. We saw it last week. The Catoosa Indians coming back from a pretty large deficit in the first half of action to win that football game. And, you turn the page back to last year, even though these teams probably a lot different from this year to last year. But Green Forest, when they played Huntsville last year, they lost 48-21, and then they beat Berryville 18-12. So there's two teams on this schedule that they can get some points on against these remaining three games. As you see Elias Hernandez there in the band. Love to see that the smaller level schools, number 14 there, doing both. They're in the band. They're on the football field. As another score update, we actually just had come in. Shiloh extending their lead, 36-0 in the second quarter. About 5.5 to go there. Can probably go ahead and put dirt on that one, as Shiloh going to probably improve.
Here's the point that I'd like to make, and I think they've done a good job with bringing Prairie Grove and Shiloh up to believe they're going to 5A, correct? Next season or 2 seasons from now, whenever. There needs to be more of a watch on that, because Shiloh has dominated for a decade. It feels like, maybe more, and there's a lot of factors that go into play there. But I mean, I think realignment is I think it should be more of a thing. You should be playing competition that suits you rather than getting blown out every week by a team like Shiloh. And on the flip side of that, if you're Shiloh, you want to be playing better competition, and that 5A is going to allow you to do that. And Prairie Grove as well. Those are two teams that could very well compete in the 5A and win with the likes of somebody like the Pulaski Academies of the state. So I think it's a good thing that they're calling them up to the 5A, and not only that, they're giving the 4A a chance to sort of reset and see what they can do.
I mean, what a great story that would be for a state championship game in the future. Pulaski Academy Brew and Shiloh Christian Saints. I mean, you can't make that sort of storyline up. But, you look, one of the things I'm excited for next year, whenever Prairie Grove and Shiloh go up, is the return of one of the great rivalries in Northwest Arkansas, Farmington-Prairie Grove, the Battle of Highway 62, back to being a conference game, as Farmington's gone up to 5A the last couple of years. They were back in 3A together. They were in 4A for a little bit together, and Farmington continuing to grow there, as they're having a great season with a new head coach, 6-1, 3-1 in their conference as well.
There's two communities right there that surround the Northwest Arkansas area that are only growing population-wise, and with that population boom, you're only going to see those schools get bigger. I mean, at some point, you can see them moving up even to the 6A at some point. But, that's a fun rivalry that's going to be renewed. And, Prairie Grove, I think, will compete well. They have a solid program going there. Shiloh Christian, I mean, we're really going to figure out what they're made of whenever they make the jump to 5A, because 5A is sort of where it gets. I mean, not that there's a whole lot between all the different classifications, but 4 to 5A is a pretty solid jump there. I mean, Shiloh could, they could either be middle of the pack or they could compete with the likes of Pulaski Academy, which seems like they've had a stranglehold on the 5A for the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, you see there, great shot from our camera crew tonight. That's the second largest Tyson plant in the world, folks. In the world.
Yeah.
Here in Green Forest, Arkansas. Great shot of the moon, and a little bit of spooky fog there, as we're only a week away or so from Halloween. It'll be interesting. Halloween's always a fun time of the year. I know a lot of the times the student sections come up dressed in their costumes. It's a fun atmosphere for the fans and everything like that. But, looking at the 5A, these teams are going to get to go against some really quality opponents in the 5A West, I'd imagine, is where they'll put them. I'm not quite sure who will move where, but, the Harrison Goblins, that's a great team year in and year out. The Alma Airedales, the Valonia Eagles, the Greenbrier team down there that's really good year in and year out. It'll be interesting to see how that game translates to the next level, because, you look at P. Ridge, the Blackhawks, who were in a 4A one just a couple years ago. They've moved up. Head coach Bray Cook, former Razorback, down there. They've had a tough year, 0-7 on the season, and then that jump is not easy for everyone. Huntsville a few years ago was in the 5A West. They didn't, I believe, win a conference game the entire tenure they had in the 5A West, and now they're back down to the 4A where they're competitive.
It's such a different game. I mean, you have to win in different ways, especially when you jump up into. Now, here's the thing: is that the 7 and the 6A have separated themselves. They are you're playing practically a college level offense. The 5 and the 4A are right there together, but that 5A is going to be a culture shock for at least Prairie Grove, and I think Shiloh too. I think they're going to have a rude awakening, but that's not to say they don't have the firepower to compete. They can beat you on several different fronts on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not sure. I think it's long overdue. Shiloh's been in the 4A for I'm not exactly sure how long, but it feels like forever. They need this bump in competition, and on the flip side, the 4A1 deserves a reset like they're about to get. I mean, you're going to see a changing of the guard, and is it Gentry? Is it Elkins? Is it Huntsville? Is it Gravette or Green Forest that becomes that powerhouse? We'll see here, but I do like them reshuffling, and I think that should be more of a commonplace with the 4A through the 6A or even the 7A.
Yeah. Well, as you see the Green Forest Marching Tiger Band here on the field, to that point with the 5A, that gap between the 4A to the 5A. I mean, Farmington just a few years ago opened a multi-million-dollar football facility, indoor practice facility, turf field, big press box. It looks like a 7A school, and that's kind of the arms race that you're seeing. I know, I believe even Greenbrier a few years ago opened up a fantastic indoor practice facility down there in the River Valley. It's just an arm race at 5A, at 6A, and at 7A. The facilities are stepping up, and it's great to see in Arkansas football.
And here's the thing with that arms race in the 5A. You're seeing that because in the River Valley and in Northwest Arkansas, you're seeing these communities surround your 7A schools. And if you get to see the Bentonville campus or the Fayetteville campus or the Springdale campuses, they're Division II college level at that point. So the 5A looks at that and goes, we need that. And they to some point, they kind of do. And those facilities are fantastic. So you're seeing just an arms race that's, I would say, for the better. It makes your facilities great. It upgrades them, certainly. And really cool to see the schools like Farmington and, Greenbrier, I think, as you said, just update their facilities and, bring them into the 21st century.
Yeah, it's interesting to that level. All these schools that are growing around here. And it's funny you mentioned, actually, that they're the size of a Division II campus. I had a friend of mine who went to Springdale High. He told me he went to Arkansas Tech. He told me one day he walked from one end of Springdale's campus to the other end, and it was actually more steps from one end to the other than Arkansas Tech's.
I don't doubt that. If you look at both of the Springdale's in more of a city situation. It's in the middle of Springdale, and Springdale Harbor's out in the middle of nowhere as well. I mean, those are both two campuses that you could make an argument for being, college campuses. Specifically Bentonville. I don't know if you've seen Bentonville's before, but Bentonville's layout is, granted they have, all that backing up there in Northwest Arkansas, but their football facilities and their campus makes it look like they're, even Division I FCS. It's incredible. But, the 7A has grown to be a point where, they're contending with different states' top classifications, and that's trickled down to some level because you see teams in the 5A that are contending and, with those facilities getting better, I think you're going to see the gap at the top, shrink. And I think you could see, the 5A to the 7A really being a coin toss as far as talent and as far as ability.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the Arkansas Activity Association, the AAA down in Little Rock. I think that's what they hope for. That's their goal. Is for a very long time, the 7A schools were off on an island of their own. Then you had, in 6A, you had Greenwood.
Yeah.
You had Pulaski in 5A. You had Shiloh in 4A. And then there was just a lot of a talent gap between all these other schools.
The AAA in Arkansas does a great job putting on the championships every year, and I think what they're doing now is they're starting to sort of maybe get tired of seeing every single team in the Bryant for the last few years in the 7A or Greenwood in the 6A or PA in the 5A. Trying to get some new blood in there. I think at this point Greenwood could play in the 7A and be fine, I think. And I think Pulaski Academy could play up a classification. I don't think they will. But
They don't have to.
They don't have to. But, the 7A is the one that's most interests me because it's so competitive on paper, but then you get to the end and it's always Bryant. It's been Bryant, I think, the last 3 years, something like that. They haven't lost a game in the state of Arkansas in the last 3 years, I believe, which is just ridiculous. They've built a monster in Central Arkansas. But, that's why the level right here in the 4A and the 5A for, Shiloh and Prairie Grove in the next couple of years is more entertaining because anyone can beat anyone. You don't see that as much at the top level right now. And that's kind of sad, but I hope they get back to that point.
Yeah, and to your point, you were talking about Bryant, your
Yeah.
alma mater, Fayetteville High School, having one of the best seasons they've had in quite some time, probably since you were even walking the halls of FHS.
They beat Bentonville in the regular season for the first time since 2005 last week. I was not there in 2005. I was there just a few years ago. But, I mean, Casey Dick has taken that program, the former Hog, has really transformed it. They have an electric offense. Their defense is great. And that the thing about Fayetteville is that not only are the Hogs there, if Fayetteville High School is playing good football, they will pack that stadium out. 7A football is a ton of fun to watch, and it's good to see them playing well under a former Hog, and it's good to see Casey Dick thriving post-football career. But I don't know if they're at Bryant level, but we're going to see. They're up at half, I think, tonight, but we'll see.
Well, there you see on the field as both teams have broken the second half huddle. Carl Bontrager getting ready to go here for the second half of action. He's had a great first half. Brad Hilgert as well, leading the offense. The quarterback and the running back are doing a great job, as called Bontrager Christian McCaffrey. Like, what do you mean by that?
Christian McCaffrey, from a fantasy perspective so far, I mean, like, he can line up in the slot, he can, take it in the backfield, but Bontrager seems a little more durable than Christian McCaffrey. But the thing about CMC is he can beat you from the backfield, he can beat you from the slot, and he's fast and he's agile, but he also doesn't go down very easily, and that's what Carl Bontrager is to me. The thing about this Gravette offense, again, they're one win on the season, which is crazy to me because their offense is clicking. Bontrager could play at the 5A, the 6A, the 7A level. I think he's just got that kind of talent, and he's just a fun one to watch from a neutral's perspective. But that's Christian McCaffrey can beat you in several ways, and so can Bontrager, whether it's in the backfield or whether it's in the wide receiver slot.
Well, the halftime whistle has blown, and the intermission is over. Green Forest Tigers will receive the kickoff when we return.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, information systems, healthcare administration.
Well, welcome back. Southern Football Friday night here on the Southern Sports Network, brought to you by Northeastern State University. As we're ready for the second half of action, the Green Forest Tigers have a little bit of work to do as they'll receive the opening kickoff, and we're back underway. And Tigers will start at their own 40-yard line, best field position they've had on the evening, and had a little bit of a short field to try and punch it into the end zone here.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see coming out what the halftime adjustments Coach Tibbett made were that they implemented. I think first off, you've got to get Fraga out of the pocket and start throwing at minimum slant passes to get his confidence up. He's got the confidence, he's got the arm, he just needs to all come together at once. But good chance to see what happened at halftime and if it worked.
Tigers going to start in the shotgun. Fraga looking down the field. He'll break a couple out across midfield. 1st and 10 for the Tigers as Fraga had some success on that in the first half. That's where those 8 points came from. As we'll take another look at it here, Cannon.
Yeah, both quarterbacks, we're number one. Both quarterbacks play both ways, and both quarterbacks can beat you with their legs. Fraga just rolls out here, gets a good block from his defense, gets the edge, and gets a first down. It's an impressive run from the quarterback.
From the pistol, Tigers looking to throw, and that one in and out of the hands there for Isaac Merida. And it'll fall down to the turf as Fraga a little low on that throw.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you got to figure out when you're on that side of the field and the slope's so severe where you got to put it, and that just looked like it was way too low for his receiver. Just an adjustment you got to make and figure it out. I do like the aggressiveness on the pass to start the half for Green Forest. You really need to see more of that if they're going to get back in this game.
Tigers again from the pistol. Fraga going to move out. Fight upfield, makes a positive out of something that looked like a negative. We'll see if the ball came out. Well, looks like Franco was down on the ground and will remain with the Tigers.
Nope.
Oh, wow, now they're going to overturn it, going the other way. We'll need to take another look at that if we got it. It looked like coming out of there, Joe Drake with the football and the fumble recovery.
That was strange to me because you didn't see, usually you see the refs calling something, and they didn't say anything for a long period of time and then just decided to, I guess, flip it around the other way. But you saw Gravit's offense on the sideline jumping up and down. You obviously knew that they had a good shot at getting that ball back, but now we're going to rock and roll with Gravit, who really couldn't put this game to bed, but could really put a stranglehold on it if they score on this drive.
Well, Hilger, we've seen this formation a lot tonight. Empty, 5 receivers looking down the field, wobbly duck. And we'll see incomplete.
Incomplete, yeah.
Surprising that was incomplete. That thing lofted up there like a wounded dove. We'll take another look at it here.
What an incredible metaphor to describe this pass, because we've seen so many great ones from Hilger tonight, and that one was not one of them. It came out so wobbly that I think the defenders even mistook it. The funny thing there is if he throws a good spiral, a tight spiral there, he's got both his receivers in stride there, and they've got 6.
2nd and 10 out of the incompletion. Double motion again, and that'll be 5 free yards for the Green Force defense. False start on the Lions will back this up.
So far, in the chance of them trying to put this game to bed, Gravit has nearly thrown an interception and given 5 free yards away.
So it's going well.
Yeah, other than that. The thing is that I think you could almost see Red Hilger get shocked there. I mean, they didn't expect to have a ball that early. It was just a freak fumble, and now your offense has snapped back into it. You maybe not in the headspace yet to run the offense.
Well, Hilger will look to pass here, across the middle, and that one incomplete. Ethan Ellis trying to catch that one. That one had steam looking like it was coming off of it from Hilger.
Yeah, he's got so much power behind his throws. I mean, he hits Ellis in the hands there, I think. I'm not exactly sure how I guess the steam train behind it didn't help, but that's when you got to make the catch on, and now it's 3rd and very long.
Yeah, 3rd and 15, and we've only run about a minute off of the game clock here from these incomplete passes and the turnover. Hilger got all kinds of time over the middle. And that one nearly picked up by Jason Lopez as his intended target there for Hilger was number 7, Mason Meeker, and couldn't quite get that one to him.
Yeah, you just saw an offense there that looked a step slow. I mean, you saw a couple good throws from Hilger, then you saw the wounded dove, as you said, and then capitalizes off with that pass behind his receiver, and now they're going to punt away. It's a hard one to swallow because you had great field position and a chance to put yourself up, 28-8. But very lucky Green Forest fumbled and come back to bite him.
Barrett Phillips back to return for the Tigers, and he'll let that one roll. Actually picked up. That's going to be Navar Perez.
Yeah, not a great idea.
Not a great idea. Tried to make something happen there, and we'll actually have worse possession there for the Green Forest Tigers as the fumble doesn't cost them anything other than field position here.
You appreciate the effort, and I think you'll take that every day of the week, but you just let it roll dead and take your offense out there. Don't lose yardage before you even get out there. So Shiloh's up 43-0 at half.
I think that game's over.
We'll call that over. That's an incredible offense. And a defensive shutout, too. So Shiloh the team to beat. What else is new?
Well, Barrett Phillips here on 1st down. Strong run. He'll pick up about 7-8. Still driving 9 yards near the marker. Great 1st down run there by Barrett Phillips. Keep the legs moving.
And we haven't seen a whole lot of Phillips in the backfield tonight, but this is a good indication of what they want to do with him. Just another strong run and gets the chains moving.
Yeah, it'll be 1st and 10. Great run there by Barrett Phillips as Tigers answer well after the fumble last time out.
These sets, I mean, you're getting a one-on-one receiver down below.
And that play not going to go anywhere. It'll be second down and maybe 9, maybe 8.
At some point, you have to figure you go, throw up one-on-one ball to one of your receivers. I mean, in that last set, you had your receiver just nobody to beat but that one man. Now they've brought some coverage over, but
Frogger going to swing it out, intended for Isaac Merida. And that went out in front of Isaac, and that one will fall to the green grass here at Bill Gatto Field.
And it's easy for me to sit up here and tell them they should have passed when they ran or run when they passed, but you had that first run by Barrett Phillips that was so effective, and then you immediately got away from that run game, and now you've put yourself in a 3rd and long situation where you have to throw the ball.
3rd and 8. 2 minutes now gone in the 3rd quarter. Is Fraga going to move the pocket? Looking downfield, and another incompletion. That one will credit there on the receiver. Great coverage, though, as you see there, Ryder Brown, number 15, hard-hitting player there for the Lions. Hard-hitting senior, one of the few seniors on this Lions football team. We talked about it back in week 0. We'll talk about it again tonight. Not many seniors on this football team, just a handful, 3 or 4. But also, I guess, on the other side of that coin, that means not a lot of loss of experience for next year.
No, which is really good if you're Gravette. I mean, young team that you can build upon these wins from this year and really next year look to compete in the 4A1.
Another punt here for the Green Forest Tigers that'll roll out of bounds at the Gravette 33-yard line, and that'll be where the Lions take over. And we'll see Hilger and company again, as we've traded a couple of punts here in the 3rd quarter as pace kind of slowed down from what we saw in the first half. There was a lot of offense and just not much going on here to start.
Yeah, a lot of incompletions to start the second half, and we've gone from a pacing of all runs to all passing, and that makes the clock run very slowly.
A score update for you. Huntsville now taking the lead over Berryville, 27-21 early in the 3rd quarter, as they're out of the halftime intermission as well.
You figured that was too good to be true for too long. Huntsville, surviving right now.
Hilger and gets it out. That'll be Meeker on the completion, number 7 there. Yeah, and that's something Huntsville's no stranger to. They had a 14-0 lead against Elkins a couple weeks ago down in Elkins on the War for 74, and let that one slip out of their fingers in the first half. No lead's safe in this league.
No, the 4A is it's very volatile as far as lead changes go, unless your initials are SC. Yeah.
Well, second down run, powerful run from Bontrager, coming through like Derrick Henry, lowering the shoulder pads and taking a couple of Tigers with him.
He's really got, you could see at the NFL level, he's got a couple comparisons. He's got the physicality of Derrick Henry. He's got the speed and mobility of Christian McCaffrey. He's a do-it-all kind of guy.
He's a little bowling ball out there at 5'10", 165. He doesn't run like he's 5'10", 165.
If somebody recognizes him at the next level, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
It looks like he'll get enough for a first down on that short 3rd down. As Bontrager answers the bell once again.
It looks like an injured Green Forest player.
It looks like an injured Tiger down on the field. You see there the Gravette fans that traveled all the way across from pretty much the other side of Benton County tonight. Not a short drive here in the 4A1. One of the longer ones, I'd imagine, as Green Forest, the other side of Carroll County. Gravette on the west side of Benton County. A long drive. Probably maybe the next closest would be a Gentry to a Green Forest that we saw. But looks like Green Forest Tiger that was injured pops up and is good to go. Just maybe got the wind shaken out of him a little bit there.
Yeah, you're up more on your geography of Northwest Arkansas than I am, but that is a long drive from the other side of Bentonville to here. And calling the Gravette faithful. That's an impressive drive to make on a Friday night. Of course, some of them could be parents or just friends wanting to see their friends compete. I remember being at that age and traveling to watch Fayetteville play, so I get it.
You guys only had to go about 30 minutes either way, though.
Yeah, I think an hour at most of the time, unless we were playing in Little Rock for the state championship.
Bontrager will get stuffed, rare stuff at the line of scrimmage there As it'll be 2nd down and 10. We near the 8-minute mark to go in the third quarter.
And now you're starting to see Green Forest finally, bottle up Bontrager, and as you should. If he's in the game, you should at least pay him a little bit of mind, because if not, he's going to burn you. The problem is if you're going to force Gravit to throw, they're more than capable of doing that, as long as their receivers can catch it.
Well, checking in the backfield now, number 42, Josiah Mcgee, the sophomore, one of the many on this team. We'll see if he can carry the load. Nice. Hilger throws it high. Great tackle there for Logan Underdown. They're number 84 for the Tigers in red. Coming in, laying the boom on Will Betts.
And fantastic coverage here from Green Forest. Take nothing away from that. But it seems to me that since the start of this half, Gravit's really either just their passing game has gone from down the field to side, and it really isn't opening up anything for them.
And one of the rare cornerbacks that wear an 80 number. That's the beauty of Ironman football at the 4A level.
Yeah.
3rd down and 11. Hilger looking to throw again, and that one behind Ethan Ellis. That'll be 4th and 11, and just like that, Tigers going to be able to get the ball back here.
It sort of feels like both these offenses are sort of treading water, I guess is the right way to say it.
You're stuck in gear?
You're stuck, yeah, exactly. They haven't really woken up from their halftime. We've seen 2 drives stall now for Gravit. And Green Forest, obviously, with the fumble, and they're going to get the ball back now and get a fairly decent field position with a chance to go down and score. One of these teams has to snap out of it and wake up soon.
Well, Barrett Phillips going to take this one in return. Good block on the edge. They'll let the players play there. I think some other officiating crews maybe might have thrown a flag there on a crackback block, but
really letting the kids play tonight. Only a few fouls have been called so far. It's a pretty solid job so far, I would say.
Well, as the war of punts continue, we'll take another look at that punt, and you'll see there on the edge one of the gunners, I believe number 7 there. He'll get laid out there by Navarre Perez. Called his name a few times tonight for Green Forest. But in the battle of the punts, Green Forest, at the moment, it's a net positive. I think their last drive started down inside their own 10, so they picked up about 20 yards through the punting game of the Gravit Lions. See if they can do anything with it here. Barrett Phillips on 1st down going the wrong way, and he'll lose about 5. Be 2nd down and 15 here.
And these defenses on the opposite side of that have really come out to play in the second half. I mean, you've seen a forced fumble here. You've seen a couple good stops and forced punts. So I'm not exactly sure what happened with the offensive units, but Green Forest, especially with being down here, needs to wake up and find some momentum.
And importantly, if these drives continue to go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out for both sides, these defenses going to get tired having to play as many snaps. Fraga over the middle. That one almost took the head off the official out there. He was looking for Isaac Merida, been one of his favorite targets tonight coming across the middle. Had him, just couldn't get the ball down.
And the problem there is Merida was wide open. It's just another instance of trying to figure out the height of the ball there, I guess. But he was wide open over the middle and was going to run for a fair bit. Just got to get those throws down and clean a couple things up, and you're a few small adjustments away from turning these incompletions into big plays.
Well, 3rd and 14 here for the Tigers. That ball tipped to the line of scrimmage, and
it was a forward pass. They jumped on it like it was a fumble.
Yeah, tipped at the line of scrimmage, and just like that, 4th and 15 or 4th and 14. That'll be another punt for the Tigers, as we'll see where the Lions take back over.
And Rhett Hilger back to return the punt. I'm not sure I've seen a player used in different scenarios more than Rhett Hilger. He's their punter, he is their punt returner, he's their quarterback, and he plays defense.
Great punt again. This one end over end right into the chest of Rhett Hilger, as he's going to be dropped at the Lion 35-yard line. And the battle of field position continues, and still the scales in favor of the Tigers, as that's a net positive, I think, about 5 yards for the last Lion offense.
Freddie Juarez is a pretty good weapon to have in your back pocket on your special teams unit. He's got a leg. He's really flipping field position.
You see there, head coach Greg Tibbett in his second year. Here looking for his first conference win of the season, trying to double the win count from last year. Went 1-10. Former defensive coordinator at Shiloh Christian and had a few other stops, like Rosebud was a head coach. But he's the athletic director and head coach as that ball nearly picked off there. As Ben Jones tried to hop underneath that route for the Tigers, but back to Coach Tibbett. Had a lot of stops along the way, had some good defenses at the place he's been, and you've seen tonight and in that game against Gentry, the defenses have come to play, and only giving up 14 to the Pioneers. They've given up 21 tonight, but nothing so far in the second half.
Yeah, the thing with Coach Tibbett, no matter what stop he's at specifically here, and I think he's here for a bit, Green Forest's defense is not going to get beat on just explosive, insane plays. They're keeping most of it in front of them, and they're doing a good job getting stops here tonight. They're giving their offense every chance to score that they possibly can.
Well, Hilger going to keep here on 2nd and 10, and that'll be a bad decision by him. That'll be a loss of a handful of yards there.
And he's slow to get up. I think he's fine. He was just taking his time. But it just seems like Gravett's offense is steps slow in the second half so far. You know, we've seen the same few plays cycled out. Now they just really need, for their own sake and for their own momentum, to just get this first down. We've seen Hilger can sling it left and right. He's got to find one of his trusty receivers here with a 5-wide set.
It will be 3rd and 9. Hilger looking to throw. Across the middle. That one picked off, telegraphed. Who else? We were talking about it earlier in the broadcast. Brian Soto, the starting linebacker there. We talked about the battle between the quarterback and the linebacker. And Brian Soto makes a big play, puts the Tigers in Lion territory on offense.
Yeah, just a lapse in judgment here from Red Hilger. He's going to throw the ball and get picked off. Guess he didn't see the linebacker there. He missed his target. Soto not going to let that one go, capitalize, and good field position now for the Tigers and a good chance to go down and put something on the scoreboard. But Brian Soto, the guy we profiled in the pregame, one of the best linebackers on this team.
Well, 1st down and 10. Good rush here for Salgado. He'll pick up about 5 or 6 as Tigers trying to take a chunk out of the lead here for the Gravette Lions.
And this is the part of the game where if you go down and score, it changes the perspective immediately. You have a few minutes left in the third quarter. You go down and score here, make it a one-possession game, and suddenly everyone's kind of wondering what happens.
Well, Barrett Phillips handoff as Josiah Mcgee just grabbed a handful of Phillips' jersey, just hoped for the best, and the cavalry came. You see there on the far sideline, Kobe Bohannon there in the gray pants, the hat. He, in his 3rd year here in charge of the Lion program, it's been a tumultuous ride. It's had some ups, it's had some downs.
Yeah.
Last year, opting into the playoffs in the postseason, just coming 6 points away from advancing out of the play-in round against Little Rock Mills, the Comets down there in Central Arkansas. This year, definitely not the year he thought it would be. A lot of new faces, I think, probably contributed to that, but a great job having just have the turnout that he's had as Barrett Phillips on the pitch here. He'll fall forward for a yard or 2.
And, you know, like we talked about earlier, Coach Bohannon did not shy away from competition. They scheduled a rocky schedule, just to put it lightly. I mean, they took a couple powerhouses in Oklahoma to start off with. That's no easy task. And, you know, it paid off. They got their first win last week, and they're in the lead here tonight. It's really that adversity's paying off right now.
Yeah, all 3 teams they scheduled in the non-conference. As Fraga going to boot out. He's just going to decide to keep it himself. 1st down inside the red zone there. But all those teams that Kelly Bohannon had on the schedule in the non-conference playoff teams in Oklahoma last year will take another look at this naked boot here.
Yeah, he's just not going to see anything, and Fraga's got great awareness, and he just says, all right, let me take it myself and get close to the 1st down.
It'll be 3rd and a long 1 yard here.
2 plays to get it, obviously.
And Fraga looking to throw and overthrows everybody there. Nearest Tiger in the area was Andre Tobar.
I like the aggressiveness there from this offense of Green Forest. I mean, you think Gravett's going to load the box, try and just stop a quick run here to get the first down, maybe try and catch him sleeping and get one-on-one in the end zone. And knowing that you had 2 plays, now you just got to get that 1 yard and reset the downs.
4th and 1. Tigers need the first down here. Look down on the near side of your screen. They have big number 99 lined up in formation, Jasmine Lopez. First down and more for the Tigers, fighting. Down to the 6 goes Trevor Stark, number 10. The first and goal on the other side of this.
And an impressive play call here. You just think they're going to hand it to a running back. Maybe Fraga keeps it himself. No, Trevor House Stark going to run around, shake a couple tacklers, and 1 defender away from the end zone.
And in the game, Fraga will score a touchdown. I believe no flags on the play. As Green Forest answers here in the second half, breaks the scoring here. First points of the second half.
It was impressive. A little hurry-up offense. First time we've seen that from Green Forest, and it's potent if you use it correctly. Fraga just going to fake the handoff like they did last time and take it himself for 6. And now a 1-possession game. And going to go for 2, it looks like.
Well, this play worked earlier. Fake pitch, end around, and 10 out of 10 for play design, but 0 out of 10 for result as Freddie Juarez Jr. on the end around couldn't get into the end zone, but we have a ball game once again at Bill Gatto Field here in Green Forest. The home team taking a chunk out of the Lions, or it's a 7-point ball game as Gravette still leads 21-14. More of the third quarter. We return.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Well, you see there Isaiah Fraga. He's going to have to answer the bell one more time just to get back into the ballgame, but he's called his number a few times tonight. No emotion on his face. He is locked in for the finish of this one. A couple of more scores to update you on as Huntsville's extended their lead 34-21 in that ball game in the third quarter. And as we get the kickoff here back underway at Bill Gatto Field, this one will roll into the end zone for a touchback. Doesn't see that too often in the kicking game in the 4A here in Arkansas. Another score to update you. Prairie Grove Tigers up 35-0 now in the middle of the third quarter. As that one's starting to get out of hand for the Pioneers.
That one feels done and dusted at this point. And Gentry, who we saw a couple weeks ago, a very solid program, and they're going in the right direction, but just not to the upper echelon of the conference yet. Which is okay. I mean, they're in a second-year head coach. They're in a rebuilding situation. 6-0 was a great start. But, yeah. You can kind of sort of start seeing those playoff berths being snatched tonight as well.
There's still one available here in Green Forest as you see Rhett Hilger and company again. Haven't seen much out of this offense in the second half as Bontrager will cut it back. That'll be one of the good positive plays they've had this second half.
And he's doing everything he can for this offense to try and will them into scoring or at least holding the ball for a good chunk of time. There's a delayed pitch. It's kind of a different play call than what we've seen, so they're at least staying aggressive and keeping keeping the play call fresh.
Well, it'll be second down and short here. Second down and 3. And who else? Bontrager again. This time, great penetration by the Tiger defensive line. See those big hog mollies down there standing up. And Bontrager.
And you can just sort of see and feel the momentum, especially if they can get this third down stop. This momentum could really shift the way of the Tigers. They'll have a chance with their offense to get back on the field. That's all if they can stop this Gravette offense, though, first.
Very slowly, that momentum might be tipping in favor of the home team as Bontrager number called again. He'll be stuffed again. Coming down, Brian Soto got the interception last time out, makes a great individual play there. Brings up 4th down and 3 for Kobe Bohannon. You punt, you go, what do you do here?
You're a coach in the third year. You didn't think you would be maybe in this playoff spot right now. You go for it. I think you have to stay aggressive here. Red Hilger's lining up for it. Yep, and they're going to try and draw him off, I think, and then drop back in the punt formation. It's easy for me to say you go for it. I'm sitting up here, but I think the safe play is what they're doing here.
Well, it got away. Nobody back to return. As this one will be in favor of the Tigers. Will be near midfield and great field position once again for Green Forest as they'll try to tie this ball game with a minute to go in the third quarter. Momentum starting to tip back. This fan base here in Green Forest starting to get into it. As the defense has made a couple of great stops on back-to-back possessions.
You can really sort of feel that momentum is now in the camp of the home team. It was an impressive drive by the defense right there to keep Gravit's offense and Bontrager quiet. And now you got to go down and score.
And 1st and 10, Fraga going to keep it himself out to the Gravit 40-yard line as the offense continues to roll here in this third quarter of action.
And he's like small. He's smaller than his counterpart in Red Hilger. I don't exactly know his size, but he's shifty. He's small and he can move well, and that's a great asset when you're trying to run. It makes you slippery and hard to tackle if you're the defense.
Quickly, while we have a pause in the action, Gentry on the scoreboard, 35-7 in the middle of the third quarter. Ty Hayes, 57-yard touchdown run. That one might be a little too late. But here will be 2nd down and short. Fraga going to pitch. Barrett Phillips trying to cut it back. And he'll get out across the 40-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 2.
That was a great effort to get back to the line, let alone I think he got a small gain there. So now 3rd down and manageable. And they're going to go to 4th quarter, I believe.
Well, we'll see what Greg Tibbett and the coaching staff of the Green Forest Tigers will draw up on the other side of the 4th quarter. As you see there, the Tigers feeling good on the sideline. We'll step away here on Southern Football Friday night. Big 3rd down play on the other side.
And the Tigers will get set for the 4th quarter.
This turned into
yeah, it's the best game of the 4th.
Tigers take the field for the 4th quarter.
Well, 3rd down and a little bit more than a football. 1st and 10 for the Tigers as they get down near the Gravit 36-yard line. Another 1st and 10. Tigers marching on here.
And it took some time, albeit the entire first half, but this Green Forest Tigers offense is really settled in now. They're able to execute their plan, and now with it being a one-possession game, you can get back to what your bread and butter is, which is just keeping the ball on the ground if you want to.
Well, nearly fumbled there. Fraga going to keep it himself. He'll slide. Nearly, I think they're a dangerous play there. They might have garnered a flag there. Ian Leonard for the Lions coming in late when Fraga gave himself up, but the flag does come in.
31-yard line.
Flag comes in. Potentially. No flag on the play. And Barrett Phillips, he'll fight forward for a couple more yards. Another positive play. And he'll get down to
Gets him a yard.
Right at the 30-yard line. Be a 3rd and 5.
Now you're in a position where you want to pick up the first down, obviously, but you can also kill some time off the clock. You're not going to be able to kill the entire quarter, obviously, but the less time you can give the ball back to Gravit with, the better, especially if you can get this touchdown and take the lead.
Fragger to throw, and that went over the head of everybody. A little bit too much on that one. That might have been a little bit of the crown of the field there, we'll say. But obvious got to go for it situation here. Down a touchdown in the 4th quarter. We'll see what that man there, number 1, Isaiah Fraga, has up his sleeve.
I was curious because you think regardless of what this play call was, it's 2 plays to get the first down. Not exactly sure why they didn't just keep it on the ground there, pick up a few, and make it a 3rd or a 4th and short.
Let's get on our feet for these boys.
Now you got to feel like they're going to have to go to the air in some way, shape, or form.
Green Forest from the pistol. They'll pitch out to Barrett Phillips. This play's worked a few times, but will not there. As that'll be as far as the Tigers go on this offensive possession, and the offense for Gravit has a chance to extend the lead.
I'm just not exactly sure about that play call or those last 2 plays. When you throw a pass that hasn't worked and then you go to the pitch to the left, knowing you need about 4 yards, and Gravit just read it like a book from the start. I'm not exactly sure why you don't go for a slant or a cross just over the middle. I mean, no matter what now, you're giving the ball back to Gravit. If their offense can wake up and make it a 2-possession game, it would be very hard for Green Forest to come back from that this late in the game.
Green Forest defense out on the field.
Quiet second half here for the Lions.
And
it'll get
starter encroachment.
It'll get off to a good start here as look like there. False start for the Tigers. We'll make this 1st and 5 for the Lions, who've needed a little bit of help this second half offensively.
Yeah, they haven't gotten anything going. I mean, you figured halftime you really didn't want to change much, and they came back out and just looked sluggish almost, and they haven't really recovered since.
Have a stoppage here. Let's see. Just move the ball back a little bit more.
Didn't count the proper number of yards off, I guess.
It'll be 1st and 5 now. As Hilger will feed Bontrager, and again, this defense for Green Forest pinning their ears back. They know what's coming.
You're not gonna, if you're the Lions, you're not gonna win this game. I mean, you got the lead through Bontrager. You're not gonna win it through him, I don't think, right now, just because of how well Green Forest's defense is sniffing him out. You're gonna have to put it in your hands of Rhett Hilger, or the hands of Rhett Hilger, and let him make a couple throws. Because the last few runs we've seen from Bontrager have been stopped at the line. You got to let your quarterback do something here.
And we go under 10 minutes to go in the ball game. And Hilger just going to throw it out. Great play defensively there. Logan Underdown shooting through on the screen. Loss of the penalty. Going to make this a long 3rd down and about 9 here.
It's just 2 plays back-to-back that haven't really worked in the second half. The Bontrager handoff for no gain, and then a screen pass out. And Green Forest had that one sniffed out from the start, and now you're back to 3rd and long.
Yeah, the blocking from the receivers on these receiver screens has been very, very suspect. As be a flag, false start, backing up the Lions even more. But I was going to say, as you see there, Navarre Perez, he's had a great game tonight in the defensive secondary. As that'll get the Green Forest faithful to their feet.
And now you go from 1st and 5 to probably about 3rd and 14. That's just it's hard to figure out where it's, I guess, stalled for Gravit. They looked like they were moving the ball at will in the first half, and now they can't seem to get a drive started.
They're going to have to get 13 yards here on 3rd down. Hilger looking to throw, has a man downfield. That one will be overthrown there, intended for Jackson Galen. And just like that, 4th down as the defense here in the second half for the Green Forest Tigers pitching a shutout.
And better yet, not a whole lot of time came off the clock on that drive. So Green Forest's offensive playbook is still wide open. I got to say, Gravit's got to figure something out because, their defense has been good, but Green Forest is going to figure it out at some point. I don't think they're going to hold them.
Awful punt here from Rhett Hilger. That's going to land in Lion territory. In short field for the Tigers when they head back out on the field.
This Gravit defense has got to make a stand. Because if they can't get it done on the offensive side of the ball, they're just going to have to get a stop. But I've seen no indication that this Gravit offense is anywhere near a first down this second half, let alone scoring.
Yeah, it's been night and day.
It's been night and day. Absolutely. That first half offense looked like they could play with the best of them in the 4A, and now they've just kind of fallen asleep.
Well, first down rush here for the Tigers and a lot more. Trevor Stark trying to go all the way. Touchdown, Green Forest.
And that is just what Green Forest's crowd needed and what their team needed. Trevor Stark going to get the call in the backfield, bringing around a couple great blocks, and nobody in the secondary of Gravit's even going to touch him. Touchdown to the house for 6 points. And now the question, Steven, do you go for 2? And I think they're going to try it.
Yeah, it looks like, again, Green Forest is going to go for 2. Want to go for the lead here, be their first lead of the ball game. There'll be a pitch out. Phillips trying to make something happen. And looks like he will be short. Gravit clinging to a 1-point lead, 21-20 over Green Forest. But Green Forest momentum all on their side. We'll take another look at it here.
And props to the Gravit defense here for getting back, realizing they just gave a big play and need to stop this one. Still have the lead now, at the slimmest of leads, I might add. But now your offense has got to wake up.
Well, let's take another look. When I was looking at this replay of this touchdown here for the Tigers, I want to pay off somebody here. We've talked about him a few times tonight. This is the 2-point conversion again. But if we can get the touchdown play again, I want to keep an eye out on tight end number 88, Freddie Juarez Jr. here at the top of the screen. Blocks 2 Lions defenders there. Opens up a hole for Trevor Stark, and he is off to the races.
He has been if they come back and win this one tonight, for Green Forest, Freddie Juarez Jr. has been the unsung hero. He's flipped the field multiple times with his punting abilities. He's a massive blocker in the run game, and he can catch the ball every once in a while. I mean, he is a do-it-all type of guy, and he's, like you said, an unsung hero of this offense.
It's been one of those nights, a blue-collar night here, as the Tigers have clawed back into this one. 21-20 our score. Work not done yet, though, for Green Forest. Have to score one more time to take the lead. And we're back underway. We'll see what answer Gravit has. Is that one going to be muffed? Gravit will get solid field position to start this next offensive possession where they have had nothing going this fourth quarter and third quarter.
And I think that muffed kickoff is just an instance of maybe them, falling asleep a little bit. And, granted, that might not just be Gravit's offense falling asleep. Green Forest has made some great halftime adjustments, and they've really pulled themselves back into this game. And what a fun one we have in the 4. Probably the closest one in the 4A1 right now, as far as score goes.
Well, actually, a couple of scores to update you before we get back underway here. Elk and Shiloh's gone final. Shiloh hung half a century, 50-0 over the Elks. And right down the road in Berryville got an answer, but it's still 34-28 in favor of the Eagles. And shooting through, Green Forest defense coming to play here in the second half. Red Hilger had no chance on that play.
And just all the great offensive play schemes we saw from Gravit in the first half have gone out the window. And it's mostly because this Green Forest defense is reading everything they're doing in the RPO like a book. Just an impressive showing from this Green Forest. Night and day in the first and second half.
2nd and 13 at the 8-minute mark to go. Hilger looking to throw. Wobbler, that one going to be picked off as well. Navarre Perez going the other way, trying to make a house call. He'll be down at the 5. Green Forest with a chance to take the lead here, Cannon.
This has been one of the most incredible comebacks in the second half we've seen in a while, maybe since last week or 2 weeks ago in Catoosa. Just an overthrown ball there from Red Hilger. And number 9, Navarre Perez. We've called his name several times tonight. Reads it like a book. Just a mere yard or two from scoring and making a house call. As you can see there, the celebrations on the Green Forest sideline. They want it more right now, and quite frankly, they're a few feet from taking the lead here for the first time tonight.
Interesting formation here from Green Forest. Never seen this one before. Power run. As it'll be a direct snap to Barrett Phillips. He'll get 2 yards, and he'll be down at the Lion 2-yard line. As we go 7.5, you see there again, Navarre Perez getting a crucial turnover when the home team needed it most, just to give his team a chance here late in the middle of this fourth quarter.
Now, if you grab it, you have to assume they're going to punch it in. They're going to take 3 more downs if they don't get it second or third. You've got to recuperate. You've got to reset and get that out of your mind because you have to go down and score.
Well, that'll be a touchdown for the Tigers. Who else? Freddie Juarez Jr., we talked about him on that block. He gets his touchdown. Gotta love a big man touchdown.
And you brought his name up, and we went back and watched a replay of his 2-man block, and he gets his chance here. We saw him run a couple times a few weeks ago when we were here, and now they're just going to call his number. He is a massive runner. He's so strong, and there's no way you're getting him down 2 yards out. Touchdown for the Tigers, and now I think you probably go for 2 and try and make it a 7-point game.
Yeah, got to go for 2 here. First lead for the Tigers tonight comes with 7 minutes to go in the ball game. A backbreaker if you're a Gravette Lion fan here. But importantly, Tigers have to get the 2-point conversion just to make this a 1-possession score, touchdown ball game, excuse me. Fake pitch, Fraga gonna hand it off again to Freddie Juarez, and nothing there is 2 straight attempts on back-to-back touchdowns unsuccessful, but Green Forest will take it, their first lead tonight.
Yeah, and another good stand by Gravit. They've done a good job on the 2-point conversions, otherwise this game could be much more out of hand than it is right now. But now, Red Hilger and company, get that interception out of your mind and calm down because you've got plenty of time. You have the ability, as we've seen tonight. You have to go down and score. But what a comeback from the Tigers so far.
Definitely a roller coaster. Only here on the Southern Sports Network on Football Friday night. We want to thank our proud sponsors and partners, Northeastern State University and Todd's Coffee Roastery, for letting us bring you this great, thrilling football action as we get close to playoff season. Playoff push in full effect on both sides as a win could set either team up for a game late in November.
It's got a feeling of a playoff game, doesn't it? You know, the air, the fans have really gotten into this one, and it's such a fun one tonight that we have.
We're back underway, and that one will die right there at the 20-yard line. And the Lions will take over on their own 24s. They're just going to try and get anything going in this ballgame.
Yeah, anything. I mean, when you say anything, you mean anything. I mean, they haven't been able to run the ball. They can't pass the ball. It's really a night and day difference. It's what the first half blew me away as far as talent goes and what they could show. The second half is more of what we saw in Oklahoma week 0. But you've got a chance here. You built up a lead for a reason. Your defense has got a couple stops. Now you've got to go down and answer.
7 minutes left in this one. Lions completely not out of it.
No.
A touchdown here puts them back in the lead. As bad snap here from Hilger. He'll just fall on it as it is falling apart in front of our eyes here for the Gravette Lions.
And it's really one of those situations where it's not, not one big play, but it's several small things or sort of snowballing, and in your mind it's hard to shake off, especially in the middle of a game and in the heat of the moment. But you got to just shake it off, get a good snap off, and get a play called.
Well, another score update for you from one of the 2 remaining games here in the 4A1. Well, actually, I guess 3 if you count this one. Prairie Grove up 42-21 as Pioneers get another touchdown in the middle of the fourth quarter. Hilger looking to throw that one incomplete as well as it's just falling apart. Nothing can get going here for Kelby Bohannon and his kids here for Gravette.
And that was a good throw. I mean, that was he hit his receiver in the hands. I mean, it was a little high and had a defender. You could feel the pressure, I'm sure, but those are the catches that have been dropped in the second half, or the passes that have been dropped in the second half, that when you look at film on Monday, you're going to say, we had this game and, a good chance to win it and just let it slip. You've got to convert here.
Empty backfield here for Red Hilger. He'll look to throw, and that one will hop in front of the intended target. 4th down and 20 for the Lions with 6:15 to go. It's a tough situation. You really have to punt the ball here and play defense.
Yeah, there's no way you can try and go for 4th and a mile in your own territory this far back. Now you got to put your defense on the field and hope against hope that they can get a stop, because they haven't really been able to stop this Green Forest offense all that much. But what a change of momentum.
And that'll be a false start. It'll be 4th and 25 now, as Hilger will take the snap in his own end.
And now we saw the snap on the drive there go right, where Hilger had to just jump on it. You throw a bad snap out there right now, it's a safety if Hilger can't get it figured out. So,
and that makes it a touchdown ball game, conveniently enough.
6 minutes left.
But with how Green Forest can run this ball, if you don't get a stop on the first or second set of downs.
And it's a high snap. That ball kicked straight up in the air. And, wow.
That's brutal.
Tigers will almost start with a red zone possession when they get the ball back, I believe, near the Gravette 20-yard line. As Red Hilger can't believe himself there. He's still standing on his own goal line.
And the hard part about that for Hilger is he doesn't get a chance to go to the sideline. He's their punter, he's their punt returner, and he plays defense and offense. So there's no chance for him to get out of his own way. And he's just got to shake it off and hope that his team can get a stop and he gets one more shot in this game.
Well, they'll mark this ball actually at the 21. So Tigers have 21 yards to get into the end zone. And this time it'll be a handoff for Barrett Phillips, and Barrett will get across the 20 as we near 6 to go in the ballgame, halfway through the final quarter of play. Tigers' first lead of the ballgame, 26-21. Have come from behind 21 unanswered points, or 20 unanswered points in this one, as it was 21-8 at halftime.
You're not in a situation where you have to call your timeouts yet, but you got all of them if you grab it.
Fraga keeps it himself, and we'll have a nifty little run there and get down to the 15.
And again, 2-play situation. You're not going to kick the ball here, and obviously you're not going to punt because they go 10 yards out of the back of the end zone. So 2 plays to get the first down from 5 yards out. You feel pretty good with how your offense is played. There's no reason to put this ball in the air.
Importantly, they'll probably snap this with about 5 minutes to go, and then you imagine if it's a run play, which more than likely it would be, that'll take maybe 10, 15 seconds off the clock,
yeah.
Then another 40 seconds off the clock. About 4 minutes or so would be the earliest that Gravette could get the football back.
The clock does start to weigh on your mind here if you're Coach Bohannon.
Well, they're going to feed Freddie Juarez Jr. looking to get to the edge. He will. Literally drag a Gravette Lion with him, and be another first down, 1st and goal now is Freddie Juarez.
And just you see here how powerful Freddie Juarez is. And, you should have probably been stopped right there, but he's so big it takes 2 defenders to get him down, and that's enough for the first down. 1st and goal here. If Gravette gives up a touchdown with the time left and with how just...
It's backbreaking.
It's backbreaking. It's with how their offense is performing in the second half, you'd have to say that that's almost the ball game. And they're in no hurry to snap the ball either, Green Forest.
6 seconds on the play clock, 5. And just Fraga going to roll out, trying to cut it upfield, and looks like he will lose. No, they'll give him the line of scrimmage for forward progress, and we're near the 4-minute mark.
That's not the worst call in the world either, because he keeps the clock running. I mean, anything at this point, you don't, unless it's 4th down and you want to go to the end zone, there's no reason to put this ball in the air. The only way that Gravette can hurt you is if they get the ball back. And, if you keep running the clock, you'll have to force them to burn timeouts at some point, or...
We'll see. As Green Forest can snap this if they elect. With about 3:40 to go, they won't. They'll just turn around, hand it off to Barrett Phillips, and Barrett will get down to the 1-2 yard line. If he had kept his footing, potentially that would have been 6, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he had a clear path.
But I think if you're Coach Tibbett, you take that we'll take another look at it here. Strong run. But Coach Tibbett and the coaching staff I mentioned will take that as you can run another 30 seconds or so off the game clock and get it under 3 minutes to go.
Honestly, it wasn't intentional to go down right there, but it's better for you. You can knock more time off, and then you can score in the next 2 plays.
Again, Barrett Phillips, and he's in for the touchdown.
And what a comeback for the Green Forest Tigers. You did not, going into halftime, everything was on Gravett's side. Momentum, score, yardage, everything. And now what we've seen in the second half is an imposing of will by Green Forest and just capped off by a Barrett Phillips run. I haven't said his name a whole lot tonight, but he's their feature back, and he's a fantastic one at that.
Here we go.
And now they kick. Yeah, they're going to kick the PA. I think this is the first or second PAT we've seen tonight.
Tried, yeah. Looks like a little confusion as Freddie Juarez is going to get off the field late.
And now 3:14 left. Gravit needs 2 scores and a stop.
And it's up and good. That one headed out towards the parking lot. As our score now, Green Forest 32-21, 2-score game. 33-21 here with 3 minutes to go in the ball game. We will step away here on Football Friday night and have more after this.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, information systems, healthcare
Welcome back to Bill Gotti Field here as the home faithful have come alive and the home team has come alive to take a commanding 33-21 lead with 3 to go and have a chance to extend their playoff hopes to another week. But Gravit has to try and answer the bell. They haven't been able to do in this second half at all, scoring 0 points after scoring 21 unanswered.
And if that answer is going to come, it's going to be the next minute and a half. They have to score, get an onside kick, or stop, hit the Tigers, and score again.
Go ahead, Cannon.
It's hard to see, but Red Hilger can do it. This offense needs to wake up. It's been stagnant all night. So, yeah.
Well, another score to update. Prairie Grove now at 49-21 late in the fourth. That one pretty much over. Looks like Prairie Grove will improve to 5-2 and 4-1 in conference competition. Or 6-2, 4-1 in conference competition. As there'll be a pitch out, quarterback pass. Bontrager has a man wide open down the sideline. As Kelby Bohannon goes into his bag of tricks. Just like that, red zone possession for the Lions. Where's that been all second half?
Well, if the run-pass option doesn't work for you, how about a trick play? He's going to give it to Bontrager. He's going to try and run it and then say, nope, I'm going to go ahead and throw it downfield. And lo and behold, Ethan Ellis wide open, and that was a leading pass. He's probably in the end zone for 6. But now you're in the red zone, got to score quickly.
2:45 to go. Hilger slants again to Bontrager. First time they've gone to that in a while. And he'll get stacked up by a few Tigers.
The hard part is that wasn't a first down, and that's not an out-of-bounds pass, so the clock becoming the enemy of the Lions here at this point. You got to keep going. You got to go quick. Because if you can't get the onside kick recovered after you score, you got to
save some time.
Yeah, you got to save some time.
Hilger looks the end zone. That one just behind Mason Meeker. Had his man. That would have been the touchdown that they needed. But it'll be 3rd and 2, and it stops the clock with 2:13 to go in the ballgame.
Yeah, that's the next best thing that can happen right there. An incompletion stops the clock, gives you a chance to huddle and get the play call in from the sideline. You got to think you're going to go to your star running back here at some point, and he's in the slot on the far side.
Look for the slant. They've called that a few times. Hilger going to keep it himself. He'll get the first down, but will be dropped at the Green Forest 5-yard line. And we'll go under I think when the chains reset, it'll go under 2 minutes in the ball game.
Got to go with a little more urgency here. 2 minutes to go, and you're down 2 scores.
Yeah, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, but only make it a 5-point or 4-point game as Hilger going the wrong way. He'll be stuffed. Jasmine Lopez, the senior, coming in there to make the sack. That looked like a broken play there, Cannon, and will be a quick timeout, I believe, for the Gravette Lions.
And that's essentially saying you got to get the onside kick if you score here, but just a broken play, like you said, and 2 Green Forest defenders are back there immediately. If you're going to burn a touchdown or a timeout here, excuse me, you better get the play call correct and score on the next 2 plays, because that timeout's valuable. And now you can only stop the clock twice if you don't get the onside kick after you score. So I guess Coach Bohannon figures he can get a good play call in here, and hopefully their onside kick practice has gone well this week.
Well, while we have a pause in the action, score update. Huntsville Eagles up 41-28 over Berryville, and with about 7:20 to go in the fourth quarter. That one looking like it'll go in favor of the Eagles and make this game next week if Green Forest can hold on here for all the marbles for that 5th spot in the postseason.
Be a fun one to get out to. That's going to be a wild atmosphere. Both teams vying for that 5th and final playoff spot. And it could go either way at this point. We've seen a Green Forest team renewed in the second half.
Well, importantly, stick with us after the game. The Todd's Coffee Roastery post-game show. We'll get you some scores, some final thoughts, and most importantly, update the playoff picture as Lions will move 2 in motion again. Bontrager in the middle of that formation. Hilger looks that way, looks end zone, and that ball smartly knocked down there. Smartly knocked down. It's Gabe Holland there, the senior, knocks it down and brings up 3rd and goal from the 11 with 1:44 to go in the ball game.
And the next 2 plays for Gravity have either got to be a catch in the end zone or an incompletion, because this clock is not going to help you anymore. And Green Forest 2 plays away, 2 stops away from making the most improbable comeback you would have ever seen.
Well, Hilger looking end zone. Going to have to make some magic here. Heaves it. Touchdown, Lions. Can you believe it? There's the answer. Ethan Ellis able to sneak into the corner of the end zone. Lions not dead yet.
Not dead yet. And this is just another case of Hilger just rolling out, not seeing anything open, evading tacklers, and finding somebody in the end zone. Great play and a great chance for them to, at least get get a chance at the onside kick, and they can stop the clock twice.
Interesting. We'll see if looks like they're going to go for 2. It'll make it a 4-point ball game if they can get it. 33-29. We'll see. Here is Hilger looking end zone. Bontrager, and he'll get in easily. Makes this a 4-point game with 1:36 to go. But importantly, Gravette has to get the onside kick here.
They do, and they have 2 timeouts to set the clock with. I think mathematically, if they get a 3 and out, they would get some time. But the onside kick is the crucial thing. I don't think I've seen one recovered in a long, long time in high school. So just draw up your best trick onside kick play, and hope your team can recover it. And if not, your defense needs to get a stop immediately.
Importantly, for those first time watching, on an onside kick, ball has to go 10 yards before it's touched by the kicking team. And if the opposition touches it before it goes 10 yards, it's a live ball and it's free game. But importantly, the kicker for Gravette will have to get that thing 10 yards.
And keep it in bounds.
And keep it in bounds, yeah.
What you see a whole lot of is just kick out of bounds, but there's a couple. I mean, you can set 2 kickers up there and try and confuse the Green Forest. You can do the one where the kicker kicks it and just runs over it himself and waits 10 yards. The 2 hops and a bounce. I mean, there's several ways you can do it. Greg Zerline for the Cowboys a few years ago had one where it just, sort of rotated on the ground, didn't even use a tee, and they got it back. I think if you're Green Forest, obviously just follow the ball or make sure it goes out of bounds.
Or if they kick it in the air, you can fair catch it in this situation. We've seen that a few times. As interestingly here, Green Forest not playing right at the 50-yard line. That's where they're given. And actually you see, it's hard to make out the number there. One of the Green Forest Tigers comes up to that front line, gives him the unofficial sign for onside kick. This one will be for the ball game, really.
Looks like 2 hops and a bounce with how Hilger's laid that on the tee. Going to go to that left side unless something changes.
I wouldn't be surprised, as that one does go the 10 yards, and it's recovered by Bontrager. Can you believe it? Hilger to Bontrager, this time in the kicking game, as the Lions have just a sliver of life left.
At this point, 2 timeouts in the ball, I'd say they have a little more than a sliver of life left. That didn't look like it was going to do anything. Look at this. It just gets 1 hop, and Green Forest is totally confused. All you got to do is jump on it, and the game's over. And now, what we saw from Hilger and company on the last offensive drive, combined with the momentum of getting that, this game is a minute and a half left, and it's far from over. What an incredible onside kick from Hilger.
Well, the Lions have to go 44 yards in a minute 36. Touchdown would put them in the lead. As Hilger looking to throw on 1st and 10, wants it all on the first play. And that'll be incomplete. Try to take a shot there for Mason Meeker, and double coverage there. Who else? Navarre Perez, he's been flying around tonight in that secondary, but Hilger wanted it all.
And you don't mind that on 1st down, try and catch the defense sleeping. Now you got to settle down and get back in your play calls of, okay, we need 1st downs, we need to just keep picking up chunks of yardage, and most importantly, we don't need to turn the ball over. It was a risky throw, just double coverage. So now 1st downs are the priority here.
Hilger looking to throw another screen play. A little bit of a tunnel set up. And that'll be, looks like a 1st down and 10. Will Betts, first time he's had a completion tonight. Had some targets, just couldn't bring one in. It'll be 1st and 10, minute 19 to go.
No reason to rush here. Plenty of time, 2 timeouts left. You can run your normal offense here. No need to force anything.
33 yards between the Lions and pay dirt. Hilger looking down the field again. I don't believe they're going to call that a catch. I
think he got his hands under it, yeah.
Questionable, but Ethan Ellis will credit it with a completion, but he'll stay in bounds. Importantly, not a 1st down. As we go under a minute, Lions going quick. We'll take a look at it and don't miss anything on the other side. That's just a spike. It'll be 3rd and 5 with 53 to go in the ball game. Yeah, we'll take another look here, actually, while we have a chance at the break. We'll see if Ethan Ellis got under it. It's not hard to tell from our angle.
Yeah. That's so hard. That's just such a hard angle to do or to figure out from right there. And now 3rd down. If 21 doesn't get a chance to impact this last drive, I will be shocked.
Well, here comes the blitz from the Tigers, and just like that, Bontrager has a chance and drops it, Cannon. Drops it.
Numbers called. He's been so reliable tonight and just drops the ball. And if I'm Kelby Bohannon, I take a timeout here. You got to get this play call right, and there's no reason to take him home with you. But he's confident that Hilger and company can figure out this 5-yard situation here.
Tigers going to drop, looks like 8 in formation.
Yeah.
And here comes that timeout. Kelby Bohannon just wanted to see what the Tigers lined up defensively. And now here comes the chess match between the head coaches. Kelby Bohannon on the far sideline, Greg Tibbett on the near. Winner here keeps their playoff chances alive for one more week.
So if you're Gravit, first thing you want to do is try and draw them off. If you can get them on a hard count to give you 5 free yards and a 1st down, that's great. Second off, I think you roll Hilger out to either side. He's been effective on the rollout. I'd say to his strong side. So rolling out right and maybe throw it. I think Bontrager has got to be involved again. Or you let Hilger decide if there's nothing there, just run for the 5. But you put it in the hands of your 2 most trusted offensive weapons, and that is your quarterback and your running back. And if you're Green Forest, stop those 2.
Get a stop.
Yeah, that's it. Stop them.
Mission's simple as the Lions break the huddle. There's not a single Green Forest Tiger fan, I believe, on their bottoms. They're all standing here at Bill Gotti Field. This for the ball game.
Bontrager near side.
Hilger going to look that way. Got it across the field.
Got it.
We'll see where the spot is. Looks like it's enough for a first down. Big play there as Joe Drake completes it. 1st and 10. Chains will stop.
First time we've said his name all night, but he's effective. And now they're going to go and spike the ball.
And that'll run a second off the clock. 40 seconds left. 27 yards, I believe. Or excuse me, no, actually more like 22 yards left to go from pay dirt. Be 2nd and 10. We'll take another look at it here. Just leaking out back across the formation. Joe Drake, but great coverage in space there.
And I thought that Hilgard put too much air under that. I thought he was going to get hit and just drop it, but what impressive just vision from Drake, knowing he's probably going to get hit to just secure that ball.
Well, you see the Tiger fans, the Tiger faithful, cheering on their boys here. 40 seconds to go. Hilgard looking to throw. Wants it all end zone. And knocked away. Gabe Holland, the senior, wants to play in the playoffs this year for Green Forest.
Bontrager once again trying to get involved, this time farther down the field than we've seen him. And you're just going to see we're going to put our best receiver out there and try and beat the secondary. It was a good throw by Hilgard because he was in a position where it's either going to be Bontrager or nobody. And now 2 chances to pick up the first down, let alone a touchdown here.
3rd and 10. Green Forest rushes 4. Hilgard just going to take it himself. He'll get the first down. Not out of bounds. He'll get out of bounds finally. Great eyes there from Hilgard. Knew they were dropping 8. Just decided to call his own number. And it'll be 1st and goal from about the 5-yard line of Green Forest.
What an incredible read from Red Hilgard. Nothing's open. Cool. You're going to give me 10 yards? Even better. So 1st and goal. You got 1 timeout left. I've said it several times. It's going to be right at some point. Bontrager's got to get his hands on the ball at some point, or you run Hilgard.
Well, Hilgard looking end zone. He's going to try and cut it back. Going across the grain. Has 1 Tiger to beat. Help's coming. He'll go out of bounds. Going the wrong way. 16.8 to go in the ball game. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 10.
You've got, I think so the scoreboard here shows 2. I think they have 1. I think Bohannon's called 2 timeouts in the second half. You've got a chance to go over the middle if you want. I mean, I don't really think you do, but that's where they're going to be expecting it to go the least. So, I mean, you've got to take a shot at some point like that.
Here we go, Green Forest.
3 chances to get the ball in the end zone here from inside the 10.
Both teams gassed here late in the game. Not much time left. Hilgard looks end zone.
Dropped.
And they're going to say intercepted. I believe that might be. Oh, they're going to say it was incomplete. That would have been a great opportunity from Freddie Juarez Jr. Who else? He's been everywhere tonight. Nearly gets his hands underneath that one, and that would have been the ball game.
He has had an impact in every way, shape, and form tonight. A defensive pick would have been like the best way for him to end this game. 2 more chances here.
Hilgard going to roll out. Pressure comes. Hilgard hit as he throws. That one nearly intercepted in the end zone. 4th and goal. 4 seconds left. 1 play to decide the football game.
And I think Coach Bohannon wants a timeout. Rightfully so. You can't take him back to grab it with you. And 4 seconds from about, 15 minutes ago, Steven. I think you and I was mentally packing this place up, ready to go home. Gravette, what an incredible comeback here to even be in the game after Green Forest really just lit the second half on fire. But, wow.
Go ahead and make sure to stay with us for the Todd's Coffee Roastery post-game show. We'll have the winning coach, whoever it is. There's still 4 seconds. It could be either Kelby Bohannon or Greg Tibbett for Green Forest, and we'll have our player of the game. So many great names on both sides of the ball to call. Make sure you want to stick around for those interviews. Final score, standings, playoff implications from the wrap-up of this week. But on the field, we have 4 seconds left, 4th and goal for the ball game.
No first downs at this point. This will be the last play, barring a defensive penalty. You've got to find Bontrager. I've said it a dozen times on this drive, and he could be double teamed here. So then you look for the next best option in receiving.
Well, he's in the slot. He's been there all night. 1 play left. We'll see what Kelby Bohannon's drawing up. Hilger looks end zone, still looking, throws it, incomplete. Green Forest wins the ball game. Your final score from Bill Gunny Field. Green Forest comes back 33-29 as they go crazy down on the sideline. Greg Tibbett has his second career conference win here, and the dream is still alive for Green Forest as they have an important game against Huntsville next week right down the road with their rival. And there's a dog pile. You can't make this up. A storybook finish once again on Football Friday night.
The scenes in Green Forest, Arkansas right now. And that's the play you want if you're Gravette. You want Hilger to roll out, get some time, and get coverage and just throw it up for not a Hail Mary. You're 10 yards out. But what a response from Green Forest after giving up the onside kick, after seemingly coming back and securing it. They give up the onside kick and get a stop 4 times from inside the 10. I mean, I think this is one of the most incredible ones we've seen all season, and that's saying a lot. It's just an incredible atmosphere. Now you're seeing the shaking of hands, the great sportsmanship at midfield. But what a game we had tonight. The playoff implications, just the momentum you can take with you going into next week, and just a fun time all around. And it lived up to the billing of what we thought was going to be a solid game for a playoff play-in game, basically.
What a ball game. 2 straight weeks here on the Southern Sports Network have been thrillers. Our final score again, the Green Forest Tigers 33, Gravette Lions 29, as Green Forest will improve on the season to 2-5, and importantly 1-4 in conference play. Gravette will fall to 1-7, 1-4 in conference play, as we will be back with the Todd's Coffee Roastery post-game show. We'll have head coach Greg Tibbett, final score standings, and our player of the game. Don't go anywhere, folks.
My name's Todd Harden, and I am Todd's Coffee. The reason I do this to begin with is because I really want people to experience coffee. What I'm doing and what other roasters are doing as well is, we're trying to figure out what the bean is trying to tell us. My goal and my customer really is, there's probably 2 out of 10 people that could taste the difference in one of my better roasts versus an average roast. If I can make those people happy, I'm making everybody happy. And so that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to roasting. You can just go to toddscoffee.com. You can get a whole bean, or I'll grind it for you. Either way, there'll be a drop down in there that you can order it that way. So order some coffee.
Hey, Dean Blandino here. And guess what? Football season is right around the corner. And to watch the best live broadcasts in high school sports in Northeast Oklahoma, download the Southern Sports Network app. And check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I just did. Give them a like. It's the best broadcast in high school sports, and not just that area, in the country. Check them out.
At Northeastern State University in Muskogee, we take care of our students so they can take care of others. Choose from a variety of healthcare degrees, including physician assistant studies, nursing, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, and more. Answer the call at Northeastern State University.
Well, welcome here to the Ted's Coffee Roastery post-game show. I'm Stephen Blackison. Our cannon pour is currently trying to grab head coach Greg Tibbett and our player of the game as they're having a team meeting out on the field. A great ball game here at Bill Gotti Field. Just a couple weeks left in the season, of the regular season, as both these teams trying to push for the playoffs. We'll talk a little bit more about that and some other final scores that we've gotten in here in the 4A1. Let's see what impact that has on that all-important postseason berth here for the home victorious Green Forest Tigers. We talked about it the last time we were here when the Gentry Pioneers took on the Green Forest Tigers, that Green Forest has turned around incredibly from last year, finishing their season with a win against Berryville, an 18-12 victory, their only win of the season last year, opting into the playoffs, traveling all the way across the state to take on the Bald Knob Bulldogs, the third best team in their conference, and coming up a yard short of tying that game and potentially even winning it. And it's been forward progress the entire season this year. While the wins haven't come because you have to play Shiloh and Prairie Grove and teams like that, it's been great to see the growth of this team, and hats off to the opposition as well, the Gravette Lions, as they have had a tough season as well. A hot battle to the end, but we'll take a quick break momentarily, and actually I think we have our player of the game ready to go when we return.
This broadcast of the Southern Sports Network is brought to you by Native Ink, providing custom products from athletic apparel, embroidery, and merchandising. Contact Native Ink at nativeinkpromos.com or at 918-693-1806.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, information systems, healthcare administration.
Well, welcome back here to Bill Gotti Field. I'm with our Todd's Coffee Roastery player of the game, Isaiah Fraga. Isaiah, great game tonight, your first conference win of the year. You come from behind 21-8 at halftime. What was the comeback like tonight here at home?
Oh, man, it was exhilarating. I mean, my nerves are shot right now. I mean, my voice is going. I was hyped. I was trying to get everybody else hyped too. I mean, it was crazy.
So, this is the first conference win since Berryville last year against your cross-county rival.
Yeah.
What does this win mean to the program? What does this win mean to you guys in the locker room?
Oh, man, it means a lot to us here. We have to win out all 3 games to make it into the playoffs. And this game, man, it's a big step for us here.
Tonight, the second half that you guys had, what was the defense showing you that you were able to take advantage of and get those points that ultimately were enough to win 33-29?
I'll tell you, the biggest thing I noticed was they were bringing multiple people off the edge, so the outside zones, they were wide open for me to pull it and to give it to my guys on the outside to run.
Gotcha. And next week, you travel down the road to Huntsville, a team that was, last time I checked, they were up on Berryville, winning that game. Big implications for the postseason. How do you feel getting ready to take on the Eagles next week?
I feel pretty good. I mean, me and my group, I mean, it's always been close with them, and I feel like we've come to, I mean, our team has come together, and we've improved a lot these past couple weeks.
Well, this is victorious quarterback, our player of the game, Todd's Coffee Roastery player of the game, Isaiah Fraga, quarterback #1 for the home team in red. Isaiah, go and celebrate with your team.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep. We'll be right back with head coach Greg Tippett, but don't go anywhere here on the Todd's Coffee Roastery postgame show.
The College of Business and Technology at Northeastern State University is where education meets industry. Our in-demand undergraduate and graduate programs have real-world focus with practical workforce applications. Choose from degrees in accounting, marketing, supply chain management, information systems, healthcare administration, data analytics, and more. Lead with experience from Northeastern State University.
Well, welcome back here inside the tent for the Todd's Coffee Roastery post-game show. I'm alongside victorious head coach Greg Tippett of the Green Forest Tigers. Coach Tippett, what does a victory like tonight mean for this team?
It's just an awesome accomplishment. We've been talking about this all year. We just feel like we've been on the verge, and we just couldn't get over the hump. And it's been a building process for 2 years now, and that's just a huge win for us tonight.
Outside of Isaiah, he was our player of the game. Who else on this team would you like to shout out tonight who had a standout performance?
Trevor Stark, senior wide receiver. We moved him in the backfield some. I did an awesome job of blocking and running the football. But our defense in the second half just pretty much pitched a shutout. I mean, all those guys played really well in the second half for sure.
But one name Ken and I were talking about during the broadcast seemed to be everywhere was number 88, Freddie Juarez Jr. Had a crucial block on that touchdown, I believe, down there. Blocked 2 Gravette Lions. I kind of talked to what sort of game he had tonight.
Freddie's an awesome kid. I was telling him earlier, he's a 2-time All-State goalie in soccer. He's a little bit of everything for us. We bring him in the backfield. We line him up wide. We bring him in as kind of an extra wing-back type of position. So plays defense, outside linebacker. He does a little bit of everything. He's a great kid, hard worker, and just does whatever you ask.
You guys go into the halftime locker room down 21-8. What sort of message do you give to the kids, or what was the attitude like in the locker room at halftime?
We told them, and this is kind of a weird stat, but we told them we're 0-15-1 since September of 2018 at home. We haven't won a home game since September of 2018, and at some point that streak's got to end, and it needs to be you tonight. And they bought into it, and those guys played their tails off in the second half.
Not to look forward too far, but Isaiah mentioned it. You guys have to win your last 3. You check the box tonight, only have 2 more to get into the postseason. You have a road game against Huntsville. That's never an easy team to get past at this level, a little bit of a rivalry. What are you looking forward to next week when you guys travel down?
Just consistency. That's where I feel like we've been with all our offense all year. We've just kind of rode the roller coaster a little bit, but maybe with this win we can get some consistency and put some drives together and finish. And our defense is good enough to win games for us. We just got to put points on the board.
And going into that last play there, they call the timeout, they get the onside kick. What was the mentality of the team? What was the mood of the team in those timeouts as they had their backs against the wall trying to make a stop at the
I felt like they believed it was their time. Like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I feel like they really bought in and believed it was their time to win and learn to win and finish the game, and that's what we did.
Well, this is head coach Greg Tibbett of the victorious Green Forest Tigers, their first home victory in quite some time. With this win tonight, you guys move into a tie with Huntsville for that 5th spot, with the winner getting the tiebreaker next week. We will step away, have more of the Todd's Coffee Roastery post-game show, final scores and standings and playoff implications when we return.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
The College of Liberal Arts at Northeastern State University is innovative, engaging, life-changing, empowering. Choose from undergraduate and graduate degrees in the arts and fine arts, languages, criminal justice, social work, and more. Be inspired at Northeastern State University.
Well, welcome back here to the tent. I'm Stephen Blackston. Cannon Poor back alongside me. Cannon, 2 straight weeks we've had incredible second half comebacks from the home teams. I mean, hats go off to Greg Tibbett and his coaching staff and the players here in Green Forest. He had the stat. They hadn't won a home game in quite some time. Since 2018, they hadn't won a home game. Just the best they got was a draw. We saw this when we were here when we did the Gentry game. The building blocks were there.
Yeah.
What does a win like this tonight do for the confidence for a team that has everything in front of them to make the postseason?
Well, the first obvious answer is it keeps you in playoff contention, which is fantastic. The longer you can keep those playoff hopes alive, the longer you can keep that locker room focused on the goal. But in the long term, looking at this team, Gravit's going to be a good team down the road. And they were a great team in the first half tonight. So to come back and forget all about that and erase that deficit, that speaks volumes about the locker room that Coach Tibbett has. And it starts with their offensive play, and their defense was so sound. This was a team that was not going to be beat in the second half in any way, shape, or form. It was just a really impressive showing coming out of that locker room from halftime.
Yeah, this is definitely a showing of a culture of a team that wants it. In this league, in this 4A1, there are some great coaches in their second years, whether it's Justin Bigham at Gentry, Greg Tibbett here at Green Forest. There are some coaches who are changing the culture of programs in this conference, and I can't speak enough about what Greg Tibbett's done here in just 2 years. He's made this team from the perennial cellar dweller, the punching bag, the homecoming, to teams that contends for wins.
It's impressive what a head coach can do, because the talent, you can't recruit in high school, obviously. The talent that he's got coming in is consistent every year, and what he's done is he's taken that and he's developed them, and he's like, okay, this is the strengths that we can play to. Let's go ahead and do that. And now he's got this team 1 or 2 wins away from the playoffs. Actually not having to opt in, but in the playoffs. It's an incredible turnaround, and just, you think about it down the road even farther when Prairie Grove and Shiloh are out of here. That's a team that could be looking at the top of the standings. This Green Forest team, the 2 weeks we've seen them, their defense is unbelievable, and their offense has improved vastly in the 2 weeks we've seen them.
And ultimately the adage is defense wins championships, and that's where they have started here. The defense pitching a shutout in the second half. Yeah. Final score 33-29 in favor of the home Green Forest Tigers. We'll step away momentarily, bring you final scores, updated standings, and what that means for the playoffs when we return.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Todd's Coffee Roastery, creating flavors for the most sophisticated palates to the everyday coffee drinker. Contact Todd's Coffee Roastery at toddscoffee.com and use promo code SSN25 to receive a 25% off discount on your order.
A tradition of educational excellence, more than a century in the making, continues in Broken Arrow. Here, supportive faculty, in-demand undergraduate and graduate degrees, and affordable tuition make Northeastern State University your transfer destination. Finish what you started.
Coffee Roastery post-game show. A couple scores from around the conference we can talk about. I definitely don't know if it's final, but it pretty much is over in terms of points scored. Shiloh, I imagine, will win tonight. Don't know the final, and that was 50-0 last time we checked there. Prairie Grove was up big. I believe they ended up winning 49-21 over the Gentry Pioneers. Last time I looked, Berryville was trying to make it a game late, but last time I looked, it was 48-35 in favor of the Huntsville Eagles, as they're going to try to improve. And then here tonight, our score 33-29 in favor of Green Forest.
So that really, it chalks up to the last few weeks becoming a playoff contention. You think about it, Shiloh, if not, with them winning and hitting the half-century mark, they've probably clinched a playoff spot. Prairie Grove, I think, is mathematically probably close to it. Elkins has clinched. It's going to be all down to that 5th spot now, and it's going to be next week, Huntsville and Green Forest. You can't write a script better than that.
Yeah, you look at it, Berryville tonight, I think with the loss, they unfortunately have been eliminated from postseason competition with 5 conference losses. There's no coming back from that, as all the playoff teams, the worst they could do at the moment, I believe, is have 5 conference losses, and all the teams ahead of them have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So, fortunately, it'll be another year without the postseason for the Berryville Bobcats. For Gravette, the road is really tough now. You have, I believe, you have 4 conference losses. 2 of those, one is obviously against Green Forest tonight. The other one is against Huntsville, 2 teams that are right on the bubble of making the postseason. So it looks like it'll be another year of frustration for the Lions in that regard. But Huntsville, Green Forest next week, that one really will decide who gets that 5th and final playoff spot and have a chance to keep their season alive in the middle of November.
And I don't have a prediction for you yet, but if you look at how they came back tonight, Green Forest, and how Huntsville got out to a slow start tonight, that is a close game, and it's going to be a fun game, and it's a play-in game essentially, like we've said. It's not the end of the road for either team. You'd have to have some help, but what an atmosphere that's going to be in Huntsville next week.
Yeah, hopefully Eagles fans will pack Eagles Stadium. Hopefully Green Forest Tiger fans will pack Eagles Stadium as well. It's not a far drive. These two schools outside of Berryville and Green Forest, Huntsville's the second closest school, and it's just right down the road, I think 10, 20 minutes away. So I imagine Green Forest fans will travel well after their first home victory in a long time here at Bill Gotti Field. You look at the other top 4 teams in the league, all there really is left to do is figure out who's 1, 2, 3, and 4. at the moment, the way things are going, Shiloh obviously going to be running away with their undefeated in conference play. Beat 3 of the best teams in the conference. It looks like they'll probably be the number 1. Second place, that one could be up for grabs, is both Prairie Grove and Elkins, really, I guess, since Gentry lost tonight. Prairie Grove and Elkins will be playing each other here in the coming weeks. Will make it a great football game to see who can get second, who gets third in that situation, and then see if Gentry can pick up some pieces. They have Elkins still left on their schedule to try and get a home playoff victory or playoff game in that third spot.
The top 4 sort of decided just what order is it going to be in, and those top 4 just need to get healthy, get rested, and get their playoffs ready. And it's do or die next week in Huntsville, it seems like.
Yeah, it'll be for all the marbles. In a lot of ways, it's a play-in game really for that 5th seed next week, as the Eagles and the Tigers will do battle for Cannon Poor. I'm Stephen Blankison. For our producer, Adam Inaratone, our camera operators, Charlie Parsley, Chris Dodson, and Nick Bravo. Thanks. Have a safe night. Our final score here from Bill Gotti Field. The home team, the Green Forest Tigers, are victorious 33-29 over the Gravette Lions. Good night.